And hello viewers, and welcome to the finale of the MSR Super V8 League here at a very wet KYALAMI for what is going to be quite a mixed condition race tonight, where I believe it's going to be starting dry and ending with quite a bit of rain, as you're currently seeing. I think WM is going to be with us, but I don't know. I think they are. As always, joined by WMDR Martin.
Greetings.
Yes, he is. So yeah, quite interesting conditions that we're starting this qualifying off with. The last time we had a rain race was in round Svi spinning there, was in round 2 at, I believe it was
that an illegal reset to track?
You might have been caught there.
Nah, I think we're a little bit more lenient on that rule in qualifying, but had pretty challenging conditions out there. Couldn't tell me when the last time was that we had a qualifying like this, though. So it's been a long season. It's been a fun season. Pretty thrilling all the way to the end. We've got a title fight on our hands as well between Gillish and Metz. And I believe, has Gillish won a title with us before?
I don't know. I'll have to check, but I think possibly.
Because we've had so many Keza titles lately.
Yeah. I mean, I know for a fact that Gillish and Kays have always been so close on the leaderboard, as well as Mats as well. But
as Svi showing his creative interpretation of track limits.
But yeah, though, I think looking at the if I can get it up, the championship standings, it's currently Matt's leading the championship with 330 points, but behind, of course, is Gillis, 7 points behind. So if Gillis comes first in this race and Mats comes second, Gillis will effectively win the title. However, if Gillis comes anywhere lower than first and Mats is one position behind him, the positions will, in fact, the title will still, in fact, go to Mats.
So that is a really close finale there, both for the title and for P3, I believe. Can you maybe pull up those numbers as well?
Yeah, looking at the battle for P3 between not 2 drivers, but 3. It's Cuckoo, Ultimate K's, and Max, who are only separated between the 3 of them by approximately 4 or 5 points.
And that can really swing anyway for all 3 of them, and I think maybe Cuckoo's going to be a little bit more on the defensive in this race, but their pace has been pretty good overall this season. Kays has been struggling on that front, especially in qualifying, so he's one to look out for in this session. Still 11 minutes remaining. And then Max, I don't think, is this his first full season with MSR, am I mistaken there?
I believe it is.
So I'm not quite sure what to expect from him yet, but he's definitely done well to be in that title fight, and does have a very real chance of snatching that position as well. It's currently Veilside on provisional pole by less than a 10th. Oh, scratch that, it's Keza now, so Keza seemingly doing a bit of a better job in the rain than in the dry lately. And the reason why we're on board with trouble at the moment is because he has told us on many occasions that he typically doesn't really get any practice in for these races. He uses qualifying as practice, as he puts in a lap there to go P9. And I'm kind of wondering how often he drives behind other cars specifically, because I know from experience, for instance, if you're in time trial, it helps a lot if you can see how other people take the corners and stuff. And it significantly shortens the amount of time it takes to kind of learn a track in a rudimentary kind of sense.
Yeah, and whether he can maybe practicing, I know for a fact that sometimes in the wet weather as well, the wet weather can be so sometimes, especially in Automobilista, a bit more unpredictable ball compared to most other sims, since the rating can in fact vary. And
now we've got a new provisional pole sitter, by the way.
oh yeah, Matt's clearly wanting that title. Gillis only 3 tenths back, but that's going to put him currently in 4th place.
Look at how he drifts it as well. I mean, I'm sure keeping it in a straight line might not be the fastest way to go about it in the rain, but it's definitely risky to have the rear end step out that much.
Yeah, as you see him, oh my god, it's completely sideways.
In every single corner, it seems, as he does his best to avoid that inside puddle there. Oh, and I think he's aborted that lap, so that is not going to be an improvement from him. K is, though, still on a push lap.
Whoa,
And you can
that's a commentator's cast, yep.
Yep.
So we go from 30 to 31.
Oh yeah, we don't have the curse counter on screen.
I mean, we don't normally have it anyways. So
Oh, okay.
that's only for the intermission.
Ooh. Gillis
Gillis
has now improved, and it's less than a tenth separating the entire top 3, which is pretty crazy in these conditions.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the top 3 only separated by a tenth, and Wild Mammoth just outside of that as well. This top 4, it could go any way to see who gets provisional pole with about 8 minutes still remaining on the clock. I'm curious to see who is going to be taking pole for the finale.
Absolutely, and may I just remind everyone that we do have a bet going up on stream about whether or not there's going to be a safety car, so feel free to spend all your money in that one so I can win as much as possible, and that is Gillish into the gravel trap.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's so easy to make a mistake out on the wet track. So whether some people can handle this wet weather better than others. As, yeah, Matt's back into P2. Oh wait, no, hang on. No, we're still in P2. Whether they can improve any further. Oh, Dina getting quite loose on exit there. And you can also see those puddles, which are going to be extremely effective on killing people over the course of this qualifying and race. Dina doing a PB. He's put himself P17. 17. There's still quite a way to go. But yeah, his teammate though in the pit lane in P5. Dina, whoa, going as sideways as one can possibly go in these cars.
I mean, you have to take into account as well, it does kind of seem like the weather is a bit of a great equalizer up at the front because the gaps are smaller than usual. But the gap between the front and the back has increased quite significantly, and I mean, you've got people at the back here that are struggling to keep the car on track. They're having to tiptoe through most of the corners just to stay on the track. And of course, that's not going to gain them any speed, but it's still better than spinning off, of course. And then you have the other guys up in front who really know what the limits of the grip are, even though this game typically does not really give you that much grip in the wet compared to some other racing sims. As yeah, Diener already improving by quite a bit, but still having to tiptoe through many of these corners.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like that for most of these drivers, it's not only on power, but finding enough under braking as well, where you can just easily lock up and just lose the car. As as people might have noticed, I do have the hiccups. Hopefully those will disappear by the time the race comes.
Alright, well, I have kickstarted my vote because I'm not going to wait too long for people to put stuff in there. But yeah, it definitely seems like we're reaching the final few minutes of the session, and not too much is changing up in the front, so I gotta wonder if maybe the track's more wet now, and people are struggling to improve on what is effectively going to be a slower track as well. That's almost an overtake into the final corner there. I think that might be... actually, I don't know who that is. That was Escher, indeed. So coming into turn 1 now on their lap, currently P12, 1.9 seconds off of pole. That is quite the distance, but seemingly firmly in the midfield. Mats, though, wow, improves by 1.2 seconds.
Or Cuckoo as well, sliding into P2. So maybe the track is in fact getting a bit dry. I mean, I know for a fact, I'm looking at these broadcast cameras, and I don't actually see any rain falling at all. So maybe as this qualifying session has been going on, the track has in fact been getting drier and drier. Maybe an ever so slight dry line has slowly been forming.
I mean, it's interesting because it's taken them a long time to start setting new PBs, and then when they do, that's suddenly by such a huge margin. So I'm guessing they were maybe just taking some time to get the tires ready, because they can take a few laps to really get into a good window. And yeah, Cuckoo there, P2 by no small margin. There's that's Mammoth in P3 now as well. So Gillish and Keza have been bumped down to 4th and 5th. They're definitely not going to be satisfied with that, as Mammoth avoids a kiss with the barrier. Back on board with Mats, and the thing is as well, you have to make sure you have enough space on track. You can see on the minimap a couple people are kind of chasing each other in multiple parts of the track, and I'm guessing you're probably mostly going to want clean air around a place like this.
Yeah, I mean, there aren't too many straights, and a lot of the I think the main straight is in fact the start-finish one, and I think the rest of them are full of curvy turns where I think dirty air could just provide maybe a bit more understeer through some of the corners, and that could effectively make you lose time. You can just hear the higher gears being used by Matt here on the exit of the corners.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is a push lap though, because he's way off his delta. Might still be trying to get the tires ready for a next lap and maybe building a bit of a gap to the cars in front, but he's about to get passed by someone right behind him as well. Which would be Ellie. Ellie though, up in P10, that's not a bad effort at all. A 156.7, which is a ways behind the cars in front, but also quite far ahead of the cars behind by 0.4. Xevious and Max are pretty close. Max only in P12, so he's going to have a massive improvement if he wants to be challenging for P3 in the standings, with Cuckoo and Keza being 2nd and 5th respectively.
I mean, yeah, Cuckoo still looking for that podium position, just like Nico Hulkenberg, and is very much looking like they could potentially get it tonight. As far as the time is clicking down, they're still in P2, and if they were to keep this for the race, it would very much benefit them a lot, considering the fact that Ultima K's is in fact in P3 behind them. Yeah,
K's setting a time just a little bit slower than Cuckoo in P2, but still way off of Matt. So Matt's setting a really amazing lap there, as Max now puts it into P1. Wow, that's from P12.
Yeah, I mean, from the sounds of it, he heard what you said, and he did not like it one bit. He now is going to be in charge of this Max, Cuckoo, and Ultimate K's fight. I'm finding enough in front of the championship leader, Mats. So what an astonishing lap by him.
Yeah, and potentially maybe having a bit of extra speed today to bring homage to the sadly passed away creator of the Dragon Ball series, which this car, their livery is based off of course. So rest in peace to that man, inspired millions around the globe. More improvements from Max, though. That's going to be another full 2nd if he keeps that up.
I mean, yeah, from the looks of it, the track, I mean, I'm not seeing any spray left. It looks as if it's almost ready for wet tires. I mean, wait, what? Dry tires. Sorry. Except for the occasional puddles. And
he puts it on provisional pole by 1.5 seconds.
The charts are all completely messed up. We don't know who is gonna cross the line to
There's people in the pits already. Some people's qualifyings are over. They're 4 seconds off the pace. They haven't set a lap on the right tire. Keza now takes provisional pole. He's in the pits, not going to be improving any more than that. How many more laps are we going to be seeing here? I think we still have about 3/4 of the drivers on track, potentially on tires that are seconds faster than the wets.
As Max going around the penultimate corner. And into the final one, avoiding that puddle on the inside. Trying to get as much speed as much as he can across the line. And he puts it on pole 2 seconds ahead of Ultimate Case.
That is absolutely wild, but Gillis puts another 6/10 on him. It's probably not going to be over yet, so keep your eyes peeled. Trickster puts it in P3, 1.4 seconds off of Gillish. These lap times are tumbling.
And I got to say as well,
Mammoth, Veilside, Mats, they're all already in the pits. Mats, 5 seconds off of pole.
This is not the way I think Mats is going to be wanting this qualifying to have gone.
I think a lot of people have been caught napping. There's not that many folks left out on track, so we're going to see a lot of people here that will continue to tumble down the order. We now have Gillish and provisional pole, Max and Trickster for P2 and 3, Cuckoo provisional P4, Svi up in P5, and that's Fennec! Fennec puts
and then Richie Bugs! Oh my god!
By less than a single tenth.
Oh, and Ellie! Ellie's back! Ellie's back on pole! Oh my god, this qualifying session has been absolutely insane!
And it could still get even more insane because we've got no one left on track. Is that Ellie on pole?
That's Ellie on pole! Ellie getting their first pole, I believe, in MSR. Oh my god, what a qualifying, what a qualifying. So Ellie...
I mean, can we really say we didn't expect this when only Mats and Ellie have set fastest lap so far this season?
I mean, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong there. I do remember that.
Well, yeah, just look at those sector times. Ellie absolutely smashed the second sector. Wasn't quite on the pace in the first one, and kept it up there with the fast guys in sector 3. So that second sector really defining everything there. Ellie on pole. I can't believe I'm saying this. Ellie on pole with Richie Bugs in P2. Fennec in a very good position up in P3. Then our championship contender Gillish up in P4. Followed by Max fighting for third in the standings. Currently P5 starting this race in that position. Trickster, his teammate, right behind in 6th. Cuckoo in P7 after some really good early laps. Svi down in P8. Keza also fighting for that third place in the championship down in P9. Diener is in 10th place. Mats fighting for the title is starting from 11th. And he's had really good pace, but he's going to have to be very careful to survive these opening laps and getting through kind of what's known as the vortex in some of these bigger group races. Mammoth in P12 as well, way outside of his pace bracket. Veilside right behind in 13th. Kunishek in 14th, followed by Trouble, Xevious, Escher, HGM1, Jetlin in 19th, and Eddie in last place.
I've got to say as well, looking at the chat as well, I think Ellie was as surprised as we were writing the words in full caps. I've got to say, how in the fuck did I do that? I mean, yeah, just a very mixed field tonight indeed.
This is not a reverse grid, everyone. This is the real results of qualifying. Ellie dominance may bore the fans.
Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely insane. You know, I thought the qualifying session couldn't get any more insane, considering that it started with, I think, the top 5 being within 2 tenths of each other. And then it all got mixed up, and all of a sudden we're seeing the likes of Ellie, Richie Bugs, Fennec, all in the top 3, beating the likes of Gillis, Mats, and I mean, this is going to be a race to watch, I'll say this. And no 2 races, just 1 race tonight. So as the lights go out, the formation
starting
lap
the formation lap very quickly there. They were definitely prepared for a real race start with that kind of wheel spin. Unfortunately, Eddie says his internet crashed 2 minutes before the end, so thankfully he was able to rejoin on time. In last place, although he's got his work cut out for him. The track is bone dry at the moment. Nismo, do we have any weather on the radar for this race?
Yeah, looking at the current radar, it looks as if I can actually get it up. Yeah, it looks as if we're going to see some more wet conditions towards the end of this race. So, unlike qualifying, where it started off wet and ended up dry, tonight's race is going to start dry and end up being maybe wet.
Wait, is that an actual maybe? Or are we not sure about rain coming?
I mean, see if I can. Yeah. So yeah, no. Looking at KYALAMI. Yeah, oh my god! No, it's not gonna be rain. It's gonna be storm at the end. So yeah, these drivers need to be ready for whenever they need to put on these wet tires, because the conditions are in fact a green racetrack, so grip is going to be at the beginning at the minimum. Then as the heavy clouds come in, it's going to potentially, the rubber on the track could in fact cause some difficult driving, and maybe some wet lines might start to form when the storm hits the track.
I do wonder as well how the puddles in this game are going to work in storm conditions, because I know I've been trying to set up the calendar for a future PC2 League, and it's been really difficult to get storm to work without having puddles that cover the entire track. So definitely a potential to form some new chicanes later on in this race.
Indeed, as all the drivers head past what is one of my favourite cameras in the game. See if I can quickly get it. There we are, there we are. Ugh, that is but yeah, if we quickly switch back. There we go. So yeah, Ellie
approaching the final corner now.
Allowing the rest of the grid to get to the back and form up. As you see the drivers slot in 2 by 2 by 2.
It's going to be an exciting race with this kind of qualifying. I'm really looking forward to it.
I think all the drivers are now in the grid, and we see Ellie rounding the final corner and is going to be leading this race. When are they going to go? When are they going to give us the green light?
And Richie Bugs is holding it really close.
And it's go, go, go. Ellie leading the way. Not getting that good of an exit as they is still too wide into the first corner. Richie Bugs on the outside. And even further behind, got some more too wide action. And that looks like Richie Bugs making a move for the leads. Ellie breaking very early. And that's Gillis as well, up into P2. So Ellie dropping 2 positions. Just behind them, Fennec is going to be looking for a move, but are they going to be attacked by Trick? So remember, the field is quite jumbled up after quite that astonishing qualifying.
Ellie's about to lose another position, this time to Fennec. I think they've set up their car to have a lot more downforce to be better later on in the race, so they're going to be taking quite a hit now. Richie Bug still leading this race, still side by side for P3 between Ellie and Fennec. Fennec trying around the outside, side by side for multiple corners. Now he's going to have the outside again in the next one.
Oh, too wide. And then you got, yeah, as you said, Dina behind, and Dina potentially looking for a move now. No,
that's
not Dina, sorry, Svi. Looking for a move on Fennec. Fennec leaves.
Fennec's not quite caught napping there, but sometimes when you go for the offensive, you leave yourself open, and he has lost that position to Svi now. So that is P4 for Svi, Ellie safe in P3 for now. The top 2 have absolutely booked it. Gillish and Richie are out of there.
I mean, knowing
this is terrible news for Mats, who's still down in P10.
Yeah, but we've seen Mats' pace. I mean, he, so far this season, has been the Max Verstappen of all of a sudden being able to break away, but him being stuck in traffic probably is a new feeling for him, considering that he normally qualifies either P1 or P2, but heading into the final corner, Ultimate K's on the offensive against Cuckoo and plants it down the inside and gets the throttle out of the corner.
I'm surprised that Cuckoo let that one happen, because they're typically known for their harsh defending, and Keza kind of just took that opportunity. The door was wide open, as we're seeing who is that? That is Mammoth, still in P11, also looking for an opportunity, as Mats and Cuckoo now side by side again. Is Mats going to get around the outside in this one? Maybe going to try for a switch back into the next? No, I think he's got the move done, potentially, not yet.
Yeah, I think his car now is ahead, and I think he should have the space to be able to turn in, unless Cuckoo has in fact got a better exit. I think they might have, as Mats hangs it all the way around the outside,
which should turn to the inside for the next corner.
And I think hopefully he wants this move to be complete, but Cuckoo still on the outside there. still wanting that position, and still there, which turns into the inside of this corner. And now Matt's on the outside, but he's going to have the inside going into this crucial hairpin.
Well, if Mats goes for a move, is Mammoth gonna slot in with him? Because he's right behind, taking the same exact line. He's kind of got his front alongside the side of Cuckoo already.
As they
no, not yet.
Yeah, slowing into single file. Mammoth not being able to get the move. Never mind, as it's very much a dive bomb.
Oh.
But
Has he sent himself off the track? I think he has. It's cost him his position. He's back behind Cuckoo again. And hold on, Ellie's up in P2. Something's happened to Richie.
Richie may be losing it a bit, and that's going to be amazing for Gillis, who's currently in P1 then. And yeah, Matt's P6 though, over 4 laps. So whether he can keep up this progress on the attack, well, it's all to be seen.
Hold on, there's another fight brewing between Cuckoo and Mammoth. So once again, side by side, which I assume is going to be from multiple corners. This track seems to really love doing that to you.
Who stuck on the outside, but they're really good at holding the outside, as shown with the battle between them and Matt, heading towards the I don't know what corner this is. I need to get a track map up, but
Cuckoo defends it for now though, so not quite able to hold it side by side as Mats was able to on that previous lap. Mats though starting to get closer to Keza, not going to be an easy guy to pass. Still contending for that P3, but maybe Keza's going to want to play it safe and just kind of consolidate that, well, not... I think what might happen is that Keza might simply not want to fight Mats and try to focus on his actual opponents for P3 in the standings. As in the meantime, Diener seems to have had some incidents. He's quite a ways back off the rest of the grid. Eddie has not really overtaken anyone aside from Diener. I think Mammoth has had an incident.
Oh.
He's at the back of the grid now, so behind his teammate. Not a great night for these guys. Once again, they've had a lot of bad luck this season.
yeah,
oh, and there's one of the
another
Dragon
car
Ball
off.
cars is off.
That
It's
looks...
Max. Oh, that's a multi-spin. That's going to cost him so many positions.
Yeah, and that could be detrimental to his battle for P3, but we're only almost 5 laps in, so there's still another 30 laps left for him to battle.
Yeah, so that means that Keza is currently in the best position for P3 in the standings. Cuckoo down in P9, not too far behind, but not showing the pace they need. Maybe also setting that car up for the rain. Now, yeah, Keza basically just let Mats through there with as little of a fight as he could. So that puts Mats in P6. Next target up the road is Fennec, and he's no longer involved in a fight, but Richie Bugs is side by side with Svi now for P3.
As they go too wide, maybe a bit of contact there between these very similarly coloured cars. As we head into the next corner, the trying to hold on there, but very much unable to. They're still extremely close as they head through the S's and now into turn.
Tailgating trouble as well. That might be an interesting fight too.
I gotta say, Gillis is 5 seconds in front of the lead, which I think Mats is going to be very much hoping he can get that down towards the end. And once he passes a lot of these cars in front.
Exactly. I really wonder if they've gone a different way when it comes to car setup, because the car is going to handle a lot differently once it starts pouring down in these upcoming stormy conditions. It does seem like Richie Bugs now has P3 down for now, but Svi's brake too late and it's half spun. Oh, he's going to be stuck there for a while.
Yeah,
that is probably detrimental to his race.
Yeah, it's in one of the worst places, I think, to spin. Luckily, though, not losing as many positions as one might think. Dropping down to P12, but was fighting for that P3 battle.
Yeah, I don't think he hit the wall or anyone else either, so his car does live to fight another day. But if his tires are already struggling, that is not good news for Svi. That does bring Mats another position up, though. He's in P5, 9 seconds off of Gillish. So still a ways to go to catch up. Maybe if there's a safety car that could bring the pack closer together again, but it's That could take a while for the cars to get unstable enough to get that kind of incident going.
Yeah, I mean, the field is slowly pulling away from each other as well. So,
Ooh,
never mind. Extremely close as they're going 2 by 2 through Sunset Corner, and someone going off wide. I don't know who that is. I think
Go on board with HGM1 here has got a pretty good view of this 5-car battle, sorry, up ahead. Actually, no, hold on. Side-by-side action. Now, let's go back to trackside.
Yeah, 2 by 2. It looks like Escher gonna try and chuck it up the inside of this corner. His nose was there, but he thought better of it. But I think...
Oh, look at trouble, though. Max trying to get back those positions that he's lost, but having trouble with it.
Eddie on the outside, and Max as well seems to be pushing Eddie to try and get momentum as they heavy on the braking, and that looks like Max trying it up the inside. The space was given,
sent it.
and it looks like they almost go 3 wide through this corner, but no, go back to 2. Oh, and that's Eddie going wide, and looks like they're going 3, almost 4 wide into the corner.
Oh,
and there's contact between Eddie and HGM1.
Yeah, luckily HGM1 was able to keep that one under control. I think Eddie getting a little bit frustrated after getting shoved off the track. They're not the cleanest of racing, but these guys are fighting it very hard in the final round of the season. All is to play for in this KYALAMI race. He goes to the outside. Is he going to try for a switchback again? 3 wide though into the first corner. I think Eddie seeing that and maybe trying to get a cutback. It looks like they're almost 4 wide if Eddie had... Hold on, there's a fight going on for P2 as well. That's Richie around the outside of Ellie. Gets the move done, so good on him. 7 seconds behind the lead. Back to this fight now.
Yeah, very, very close. Oh, and that looks like Max trying to shove it down the inside of HGM1. And extremely close as there's still 2 by 2, a bit of contact there. And that looks like HGM1's got a bit wide, forcing Max a bit wide, and that allows, I believe, Eddie to slot it up the inside. Quite a bit of contact between the drivers there, but an incredibly close battle.
Racing here. As hold on, Mats is up into P3 now, so he's gotten by Ellie. That means Ellie is going to be trying to defend from Fennec now, as I believe that's HGM1 going around the outside of Eddie. These guys keeping on fighting hard. He's taking different lines
as they head into Mineshaft. 2 wide, but I think Eddie having that inside line over that long corner. But never mind, as Max
yet again.
Very close between these drivers as Eddie goes a bit wide to give space to both cars, but is going to probably lose the position. But it looks like he's tried to undercut, but he's still going to have the outside line going into the final corner. Oh, and can Eddie get the exit he needs? And then 3 wide once again across the line to enter lap 8. And it looks like they might be going 2 wide, though, into the first corner.
It's a 2 by 2. Max once again sending it on the brakes. I think he's got the move done this time. But these guys are now 3 seconds off of Jetlin in P15. This incredible fight has cost them a lot of time.
They head round one of my favorite sounding corners, Barbecue. I don't know why it's called that, but I do like that name.
In the meantime, Mats is really starting to pump in the lap times. Last one was a 43.7, 0.2 faster than the leader. He's right on the bumper of Richie Bugs now. Let's go on board.
Mats starting P11 and fighting for that championship. So he's going to be wanting to fly by Richie Bugs.
I think there's just been an overtake. Cuckoo potentially losing a position there to Vale side.
Oh, and I think Matt's making a move as well.
Unlucky, missed that one. Yeah, Matt's up into P2. I'm not sure if Richie Bugs might have been caught napping there, because I don't think he'd be the type to just let him through when he likes battling so much.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, that's 8.6 seconds now separating the top 2 for the championship. This is absolutely crucial. Still, we're only on lap 8 of the actual race, not including the formation lap. 35 laps in total. Still quite a long time to go. Vale side now having a look at Trickster, not quite close enough to go for a move just yet. I think Jedlin is in a better position, but he's not got the straight line speed.
Yeah, just quickly as well, if the standings were to finish like this, Gillis would in fact win the championship by 1 point. So Mats is going to be very much trying to put the hammer down and gain all that he's lost within those within him battling the other cars to get into that P2 position.
As Vale side makes it past Trickster, and Cuckoo looks like they'll be trying for a move as well soon. But for P3 in the standings, Cuckoo's a good 5 seconds behind Keza. It's only 1 spin away, but that's still a hard gap to start closing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about spinning. The rain should be hitting us in maybe 10 or 15 laps time, since it is going to be coming towards the end of the race. And something that I've got to wonder as well, it's going to come towards the last third, and whether it's going to rain enough for people to maybe possibly consider swapping onto those those wet tires. I genuinely wonder, because sometimes the rain can start off a bit light, but then it can also start a bit heavy, and whether it's gonna affect whether people pit, and whether we might see 2 strategies come where some people might not pit and try to last out as long as they can on the dry compound tires, or whether they're gonna risk it and try to re-overtake those who were on those dry compound tires. That strategy is going to be seen towards the end of the race.
I'd be very surprised if people try to stick it out on dries, as that
as
looks
Cuckoo
like
tries to stick it on the inside.
But I mean, it is stormy conditions though, so I imagine there's going to be a lot of water on this track soon.
Yeah, as the to be honest, the guy looks pretty fine at the moment. As you see Xevious turning on his wipers, it seems. Right behind.
Maybe trying to get a bit of that aero advantage pre-rain.
Yeah, so,
so Ellie has been passed by Fennec now. In the meantime, that means our pulse hitter is down to P5, still doing an amazing job, and ahead of Keza though. As this is currently the fight you're looking at for P10 between Svi, Kunishek, and Xevious. I think another fight we still got on our hands is Cuckoo now looking around the outside, and Trickster looking to make it a switchback.
Trickster going a bit deep there as well, so that gives Cuckoo a better exit. But there's not too much places you can go, especially through this long left-hander. But there is a massive overtaking opportunity as we head into this 90-degree right-hander. They've shoved it down the inside. Trickster has given them the space, but Cuckoo unable to get the run out of the corner on them.
And that corner is really kind of deceptive. It invites you to really send it down the inside, but then it just keeps on tightening, and you will end up flying off the track if you're not careful. As we're looking at Max now trying to recover his race, looking really close to that bumper of Jedlin in P15. Last lap was over a second faster, so he's definitely got a chance here.
Yeah, in that slipstream, he's going to be looking for a move, hopefully down the inside, and he is. Max in P16 looking for that P15 position, it down the inside. Jedlin trying to hold it around the outside, and has, but that outside is going to be he's very much going to be stuck around the outside again. Bit of contact between the drivers, but Jedlin now has going to have the inside line to this next corner.
I'm impressed he has the straight line speed after that exit. That is a wild defense there from Jedlin, but now he's gonna have the inside again, but that's gonna turn to the outside, and he's not quite alongside anymore, I don't think.
Oh, contact!
Yeah, definitely gotta watch out there, otherwise... Oh,
that's Kunishek.
Yeah, that is Kunishek off. Well, not off the track, but facing the wrong way, and that's them down to P19, so that's a very costly error.
Yeah, very unfortunate there.
Cuckoo still looking to get by Trickster, so kind of a role reversal here. Cuckoo stuck on the offensive rather than the defensive this time. Eddie now looking for a move on Jedlin. I think Jedlin's struggling a bit. And the gap between the top two is not really changing much. It's still 8.8, 8.6 something seconds. both setting mid 43s, which is a wild pace if you look at the rest of the field. But yeah, it's I don't think either one of them has a massive advantage around here, so we're gonna have to wait until the weather hits to see if there's maybe a pace differential there. Is Eddie now looking to the inside of Jedlin for P14 in the final corner?
It looks like he might be able to get the run out of that corner as we see Jedlin getting a bit of wheel spin. But Jedlin's going to have the slipstream going into the first corner.
That's Xavius pitting now. That's that can't be a scheduled pit stop.
Well, Eddie going
A
semi-defensive.
bit of a love tap there in turn 1.
I think Eddie is going to be able to hold Jedlin behind and is going to be able to stop it.
Oh no, is that his internet out again? Oh,
yeah, that
Eddie,
is.
No.
And I think that is going to be a comment. Oh,
Hacks.
he's back.
Hacks, I say. He's still in the race. That's one heck of a lag spike.
Yeah, and I guarantee from Jedlin's point of view, he's going to be jump scared.
Oh, hold on. That's Svi off the track. Oh, and we have just lost someone. Is it? It is Eddie. Eddie's out. So
Wait.
After recovering from potentially the most impressive lag spike of all time, he has in fact been kicked from the session.
No.
Looks like his internet still giving issues, which is a really awful way to end the season for him.
Honestly, yeah, very unfortunate there for Eddie. But yeah, the battles for...
Oh, that's side by side now. I think that may have been a mistake by Trixer. They're not giving it up though, but I think they've sacrificed their exit with that attempt at a dive bomb.
Yeah, and Cuckoo just able to hold it around the outside and keep the momentum out of the corner.
Now, if you look at the lap times in the top 6, you'll notice that pretty much everyone at this point, except for Gillish and Ellie, are setting 144s. Ellie a little on the slower side with a 146, and Gillish a little on the faster side with a 43. Matt's not doing enough to close the gap. In fact, it's been extending a bit over the last few laps. And Keza really looking like he's about to overtake Ellie for P5 in this race. He's actually extended his gap over Cuckoo as well, so that's a 7-second gap now for that P3 position in the standings.
His ultimate K's all over the back of Ellie, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see an overtake towards the end of the lap. Ellie's last lap was a 146.2. Ultimate K's is a 44.9. And
Was there a curse in there?
More like a prediction.
Harsh. As Ellie recovers to the track in P9, that spin cost them another 1, 2, 3, 4 positions, which is massively unfortunate. That's what a 10-second drop will do to you when the field is this competitive, but still in a respectable top 10 position. More opportunities may come when the rain hits, but that is a big blow to Ellie's race.
Yeah, extremely detrimental there, as the pole sitter drops down to P9, and believe some very close battles still in this race, and I also believe further that I don't know if there's a battle. Yeah, between.
Oh my goodness!
Xavius...
Are they floating for you as well?
No, they're not.
Okay, it's Xavius has one of those nice floating bugs on my screen. Not touching any of the asphalt. He's too good for that. As he's looking for the
dives
inside.
down
Diener
the inside.
Diener looking to make a switchback work, but he's not got the best exit.
Too much curb there, and just that unsettles his car too much. Yeah, it's
very
camber,
unsettling
not
indeed.
the
As Ellie, I think, is now approaching Trixer, so potentially unlocking a bit more pace there, setting a personal best sector. Down in P9, looking for P8. Next car is 3 seconds up the road. And Matt's setting a pretty impressive 43 flat, but still not closing the gap to Gillish, who keeps on setting low 43s himself.
Yeah, so...
Lots of people using different lines here, and how many of the curbs around this track do you think they're actually able to use? Because they are all quite tall, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of... I mean, here I think you can take the curb. But I think through most places, such as this corner here, it just puts your camber a bit off and...
Oh, no, that's another spin for Ellie. I think they might have cooked the tires by pushing them that hard. Now we're just waiting for a safe rejoin. The field is a bit more spread out than earlier, so not having to wait as long as if that would have happened earlier in the race, but that's down to P12 now. 2 spins in as many laps. Ellie is really going to have to start reining in those tire temperatures.
Yeah, I mean, this is quite a... with how many long corners this has, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people's tires are in fact overheating. And with a no longer it being heavy clouds and now it's turned to medium clouds just before a storm, it's very, very interesting, the conditions.
As Eddie joins us in the chat, we definitely enjoyed your battles there, Eddie. That was quite the fight there at the back of the field. Very unfortunate for your connection to die out. I definitely think you deserved more for that season finale. And welcome, Carlover, as well. Is that Ellie spinning again?
Yes, it is. In the background, it is.
No! That's Ellie all the way down to P17 now from the lead in just 14 laps time. They really held it together for a long while, but those tires are just completely gone at this point.
Yeah, incredibly unfortunate for Ellie.
Veilside approaching. Keza, I wonder... Oh, hold on. I think Kaza's made a mistake. His last lap was a 46, and the gap between him and Cuckoo is only 2 seconds. That was 7 seconds not too long ago. This fight for P3 in the standings has really started to spice up again.
Yeah, you can see Cuckoo as well in the distance, the car behind Veilside. So, it's going to be very, very close maybe if Ultimate Chaos makes another one of those mistakes. They put in a 145 and Cuckoo behind putting in a 144.4. So Cuckoo...
That's potentially not just Ellie struggling with those high tire temps and other people saying the tires do be cooking. I wonder if the rain might just be some form of relief for the drivers when it does come, because that will cool down the tires pretty significantly.
I mean, there's another thing as well. With the hotter tires, it also increases the tire degradation. So whether that people could also start to be suffering with tire degradation halfway through this race, at least I believe, yeah, about halfway through the race. I am curious. The Veilside putting the pressure on Ultimate Case, touching a bit of that inside curb, which I'm surprised he didn't spin out.
Case goes in a little deep. That compromises his run through the next corner. Veilside's got the perfect line.
Ultimate Case defending the inside line. They're going too wide into this. Oh, and that's Veilside on the grass.
Is he going to keep it? No! As he goes through the gravel, barely taps the wall. Might have gotten away with that damage, but not without a wounded pride and several lost seconds.
Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be a ticket about that, because I don't know if Ultimate K's left him enough space. I mean, that going up into that corner, it's extremely weird, because you want to be turning ever so slightly right, going into that braking zone so that you can get the best exit you can coming out of the corner. An extremely weird one. But that's left.
I mean, if that does get looked at, that could have implications on the standings as well, as Cuckoo continues to approach Keza. His last lap now, a 40, is it gonna update 45.3 with Cuckoo again catching him by half a second on that lap. The gap now less than 2 seconds.
And Gillis and Mats, their battle still around that 10-second mark. So it doesn't look as if Mats has the pace to catch Gillis.
It's really unfortunate because their lap times are so similar. Imagine what he could have done in the slipstream, or at least within the range of a dive bomb or something.
Yeah.
But we could definitely see things change when the weather does end up turning around. But for now, no weather, no significant weather on the radar just yet. It does remain bone dry on this track here in South Africa. And it seems like the closest cars at the moment are probably Cuckoo and Keza, though Mammoth could potentially catch up to Escher at any point in time, and the same could be said for Max just behind Then you have Kunishek not too far behind of trouble as well. Everyone's basically one mistake away from another car, it seems.
Yeah, but this battle for the P3 in the championship is the closest one, and is getting closer and closer. Yeah, with mistakes like that, it's gonna be costly, and Ultimate K's potentially could be under investigation as well for that incident. He's gonna be wanting to get as far away as he can, but he doesn't seem to be, as Ultimate K's crosses the line and did a 1:45.3. Meanwhile,
pretty
Cuckoo
much
doing
the same lap times as on the previous lap, so that's another half a second shaved off there for Cuckoo.
Cuckoo very much gaining over these next couple laps.
I also wonder, when you set up your car for the dry, is that going to be taking more out of the tires before the rain comes?
Well, I mean, if you're expecting storm conditions, as you said earlier, most of the time, if you're looking at the strategy here, you're going to be wanting to push your tires as much as you can and hoping that the rain will come as early as possible so that you can eventually swap your tires, so you won't be able to do the entire race with your current tires, unlike the other 1 hour races where we've seen. And also
he's again taking that deeper line into that corner lap after lap. That might be where he's losing his half second, as I think Cuckoo is now definitely within the slipstream. Coming into the second half of the track, where there's definitely potential. I mean, we've seen Keza go wide in one of the, I think it's 2 corners from now as well. So he's really gonna have to start reining in those late lines if he wants to defend that P5 position and get P3 in the standings.
Cuckoo now very much putting the pressure on Ultimate K's, and any slip up from K's now would easily put Cuckoo behind them, or maybe even in front, depending on how big the slip up.
Cuckoo about 1/10 slower there, but again taking multiple tenths out of that gap to Keza, and now at the slipstream, it's going to be hard for Keza to even attempt to shake Cuckoo off unless they make some sort of mistake, which we have seen many people do in this race so far. Oh, hold on, there's another fight brewing for P15. I think that's Jedlin and HGM1. Oh my goodness!
I don't know if there was contact there. It looked like Jedlin's car all of a sudden swayed offline, so maybe a bit of desync. But,
okay, so that looked different on your screen then, because on my screen what happened was Jedlin literally flew over HGM1's hood.
Oh, yeah, no, I witnessed that now. Oh, yeah, oh. Didn't know we were watching Trackmania.
Yeah, this reminds me of some of the earlier days, as the first drops of rain are now falling onto the track. This is huge. People won't be coming in just yet, but these are going to be stormy conditions.
They are.
So it's
yes, I'm seeing them.
A huge amount of water coming down, and the lap that you decide to pit will, I assume, really have an impact of multiple seconds on the gaps between rivals in this race. We've currently got a 10.3 second gap for the lead, so you can see that's potentially change. I mean, hopefully it'll give us one heck of a title battle in these closing laps. We're on lap 19 of 35, so just over halfway. And no one coming in as of yet. The track's still a good 90% dry, I'd say.
Yeah, as Carl Lover saying, with the you should change the game to Wreckfest with desync like that.
Well, that would be amazing if we could commentate over an actual Wreckfest league someday.
Yeah.
As Cuckoo on that last lap, I think they're definitely starting to suffer from dirty air now, only closing the gap by a further singular tenth, so definitely hoping for a K's mistake, but none happening so far.
Yeah, I think what a lot of drivers also might be thinking is the rain's starting to come down, the track's going to be getting greasy. How much can I push the car now that maybe the train isn't the rain isn't 100%, the track isn't 100% there, and the rain very much maybe getting rid of some of the rubber or making it even more slippy.
Yeah, and just looking at some of the gaps again, Gillish has extended his lead by a full second since the last time we checked on these guys, so he's definitely still pushing as hard as he can. Matt's maybe still as well, he's still in the 43s, but just not as low as his opponent, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens with those. As Kaiser goes deep again, but it's still with a good line for his exit, so no overtaking opportunities for Cuckoo yet. Who is that just up the road over there?
It looks to be a back marker of, I think that
Diener it is, yes. It's Diener in P18. We've lost another person from this race. We're down to 18 drivers now.
So, I mean, these battles, I think all the people who are contending for a position, especially the higher ones, are still here. Luckily.
Ooh, and look at the rear window of Kaiser's car now. It looks like the rain's starting to come down with a lot more intensity. Still nothing on the track though. I don't see any slippery surfaces or puddles. Max is already coming into the pits.
I mean, I said that it would get worse towards the later third. And
we've just missed. They're side by side. Cuckoo and Cuckoo and Kaiser for P3 in this championship. That's Cuckoo side by side with Kaiser for P5 now.
Kaiser still has his tire on the inside. In fact, he's got his entire car, and they go too wide. Ultimate K's leaving enough space, but it seemed Cuckoo got turned in on a bit, and I think
that was definitely that ruined Cuckoo's line for sure. As we're seeing some positions being switched around, I think that is Max maybe losing out. What's going on here? They just come out of the pits with those new tires.
It looks like he's floating, and they haven't jacked his car down from my perspective. But
in the meantime, Veilside's actually recovered. He's right up the rear of Cuckoo now, so this has turned into a 3-car fight for P5.
Yeah, but the question is, when are people going to pit in this freeway train, and who is going to be the one to benefit?
Kunjusek has just overtaken trouble for P12. We have Xevious pitting now as well, and Fennec in P4. So some higher placed drivers are thinking this is the time to switch. We saw some of the earlier people pitting more towards the back of the field. They have a lot less to lose and a lot to gain, and we're seeing more and more people pitting now.
Yeah, that battle behind all three drivers are boxing. In fact, they're pushing each other around that corner. I wonder, in this battle, who's going to come out in front more? I think the whole pit lane is being swarmed by cars, so it seems like everyone is pitting. Osmocase's pit crew seem to be invisible, so whether he's
hiring ghosts.
Yeah, whether oh, and I think he's leaving the pit lane. Is he going to be able to come out in front of the too wide coming out of the pit lane? That's a Cuckoo going too wide of Ultimate K's, and Ultimate K's losing out to Cuckoo on the pit.
Wow, I was not expecting a pit lane overtake, but here we are. K's deciding not to send it up the inside. They're both floating on my screen now. The top three stayed out, so they're going to be probably very, very slow. They've already lost about a second worth of lap time on the previous one. Gillish, Mats, and Richie Bugs. I think Fennec, the top car that has come into the pits, he's looking pretty well set, 12 seconds ahead of these two. Now the second half of the grid also in the pit lane. It's really starting to bunch up multiple packs around the field. We've got Escher now very close to Trickster. Gillish coming into the pits as Matt's going to follow him in. He does. Okay, so that just leaves Richie Bugs now out of the top few drivers. And this track is absolutely pouring it down now. There's spray everywhere. They've got to be really, really tiptoeing now.
Yes, all Richie Bugs off the circuit with absolutely no grip. And
definitely crushed a few bugs in the grass there.
Yeah, it seems like Ultimate K's and Cuckoo very much going for the pod racer strategy here.
Now, I just wonder if Fennec is going to be able to maybe overtake Richie on strategy there, because Richie losing a couple seconds there with his incident. Unfortunately, can't see how much time Gillish and Mats lost on that wet lap, because they did come into the pits, and that will, of course, slow down the lap time massively, so they've definitely lost out for sure. The question is how much. Richie now coming out of his pit box at the end of the pit lane, and Fennec is only just now exiting the final corner, so he does keep his podium position for now.
Let's put it this way. Gillis and Matz's in lap were both 2:11s, and
hold on. Case has got a better exit here. Okay, no, never mind. Go on.
But most of the out laps of the drivers who would put on wet were 2:06s or 2:07s as Ultimate K is trying around the outside line.
Yeah, not quite enough grip there. They're having to still drive quite slowly. I mean, the track is wet, but maybe not wet enough for these tires to function optimally just yet. As Keza then switching lines, he's going to have the outside for the next corner, but we've seen a lot of people hold on around the outside of so many corners around this track. He's got more straight line speed as well, it seems.
Try it round the outside line. And unlike Quali, I'm still not seeing too many puddles. As much as it's pouring, the puddles don't seem to be there yet.
And these two are definitely fighting with all they have for this P3 in the standings. This fight being very, very important for the championship. The top two, unfortunately, still with exactly the same gap after that pit stop. So the rain has not changed anything for them so far. We just have to gonna wait and see what their consistency is like. But so far, only 1/10 separates their pace. As Gillish setting a new 158.4 on those wet tires. K's almost losing the back end on his. And Mats, again, half a second slower than Gillish on these wet tires now. So it's not looking good for Mats in these standings. There's only 12 laps left to go. He's going to have to catch Gillish by a second lap pretty much if he wants to win this.
Yeah, which is, I mean, we've seen the pace before, but it's very unlikely this far in, and we know,
Okay, he's sending it down the inside, but that's gonna not give him the best exit out of the final corner.
Something I will say is, Ultimate K's, from the last couple races, would be the one to be most suited, considering that when we were at the last rain race, he was in fact able to win not one but the last two, considering that they were both half-an-hour races. Was able to win both of them in round two. But yeah,
also I've just realized the second driver that we're missing from this race is in fact Svi, so he has retired unfortunately from the season finale, as K is once again side by side out of this corner. This definitely seems like his favorite area to try and go for an overtake.
I mean, yeah, we're watching the battle for P3 in the championship standings, as yeah, I think Cuckoo isn't going to be wanting to settle for a P4 in the standings as much as they've got them all over.
Who knows, if something happens to Fennec, it might be another P4 in this race though.
Yeah, indeed, which would be hilarious to finish on this battle.
We've got an explanation from Svi. For him, it was the game that crashed. So that's another bug splat. So far we've had an internet and a bug splat this race. Not the best reliability so far, unfortunately.
Yeah, as we head into the, I believe, mine shaft it's called, which will probably be flooded.
There's definitely big puddles starting to form now, as they're really gonna have to start changing their lines to avoid completely losing the car to those things. Even though on some screens they do appear to be floating, they are, according to the game code at least, still touching the ground.
There's Ultimate K. He's going a bit wide, but it looks like he could get a better exit. Unable though.
Not on this occasion. Veilside though, it's starting to catch Trickster as it goes a little too deep there. Trickster himself goes too deep on the next corner, so people making mistakes all over the place. Keza still looking at that bumper. Peaky blunders, it's right in front of him.
As we head through the...
Oh, we've just lost another driver.
The Jutski sweep. And into Barbecue, which is at this point extinguished from how much rain is being put out. As then we head once again for the 25th time through Sunset.
It's Diener. Diener's out with another bug splat.
No, Diener. Whoa, Ultimate K is very close to the bumper there of Cuckoo as they head...
Deciding to brake later than your opponent no matter what, even when you're right behind them, and still not smashing into them. So good on Kayza there, but definitely enough to give quite a few people a code brown, as that's Cuckoo not getting the best exit at all.
Ultimate K's seems to have the exit, but they're not going to be on the outside going into Leocop,
which that's is really good defensive driving from Cuckoo. They're still barely holding on to the inside line.
Very close between the drivers, but Ultimate K's car just ahead as they head through Mineshaft. But Cuckoo looks
to
for a
the
move
outside to get some later braking and maybe go for a switchback on corner exit.
It looks like they might have
the same line. Oh, was that a bit of light flashing there?
That was, I think the lightning has started with 10 laps left. Cuckoo trying the outside line, but it's not effective, and Ultimate K's massively gapping them.
And Veilside getting ever closer to Trickster. But are you sure that was lightning, or do you think that might have been Cuckoo flashing their lights?
I mean, but I don't think Cuckoo would be one to...
Jetlin's off!
I think also losing to Kunisek there.
Yes.
As Veilside...
So you were going to say something about the lightning? As Veilside makes a move around the outside of Trickster. That's not something you see every day, and the move ends up not actually being a move, so stays in P8.
Yeah, it isn't something you see every day, because it doesn't happen.
Doesn't exist.
It's like theory. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna quote that any further. But Veilside very much on the back of Trickster, but Kunisek very close to the rear end of HDM1.
Ooh, look at those lap times. HDM1's made a massive mistake. That's a 2:04 on that last lap. Not a good one whatsoever.
I think Kunisek, though, needs to watch out for the likes of Jedlin behind. Oh, and talk about that!
Yeah, you weren't wrong.
It seems like Jedlin...
that was a massive shame there.
Ooh.
And is that Gillish already lapping people?
That is Gillis.
Oh no, that's Matson. Oh, he's wrecked his car.
No.
That is potentially an end to our title fight, but still 9 laps to go. Gillish isn't home yet, so things could still happen. But that's Matt's out of the podium positions, in the pits with damage. We'll see what kind of position he comes out in soon enough. But yeah, that is a huge blow to his championship aspirations. And now there's so much water in the air now as Jedlin decides to join it in the air that we can barely even see what's happening anymore.
Yeah, I mean, these conditions are absolutely abysmal. If this was real life racing, which of course it is not, I wouldn't be surprised if we might see some red flags, but luckily our stewards aren't idiots.
As Trickster now loses a position to Veilside, I believe. That happened in the final corner. Something happening with Escher as well? No, nothing quite happening there. Okay, yeah, no, that's... Wait. Veilside has now lost a position to Trickster, so not even half a corner after he's overtaken Trickster, he's already lost a position again. If I had a penny for every time that Veilside overtook Trickster and then didn't, I'd have 2 pennies, which it's not many, but it's weird that it happened twice.
As Veilside on the grass and off the track into the gravel and into the wall.
Ooh. That has to be, I mean, we definitely did not commentators curse these guys this time, but that is Matt's teammate having an almighty crash and quitting the race just a couple of laps from the end. A disastrous end to the season for those two. Not sure what kind of implications that might have for the team standings, but yeah, wow. That is a very dramatic end to Veilside's race.
Yeah, indeed. That's going to be Cuckoo up into P5. And we said it before that this battle between them and Ultimate K's, as much as it's distant, now it is battle for P4. And that's another spun car.
That's Xevious. And Xevious now losing a position to Ellie. Ellie no longer in last place in this race. Oh yeah, Xevious' car really looks badly damaged as well. as he flashes his lights, not quite sure what for. Maybe he accidentally turned them off or something.
Yeah,
but, stays out, so doesn't pit.
Yeah, I think Cuckoo now, though, having more incentive to get back into that P4 position. And,
yeah, actually, is there a scenario where Keza finishes ahead of Cuckoo and takes P3? No, I mean, and Cuckoo remains in P3 in the standings?
Well, let me have a quick look at the points as they currently stand. So, currently, I believe, yeah, Ultimate K's in P4. I think, looking at the points overview, I think Ultimate K's, as it stands, would finish 1 point ahead of Cuckoo due to it now them being promoted to P4
so
and
it really
P5.
is a winner-takes-all situation for those two, as Xevious has overtaken Ellie again, so Ellie seemingly struggling even more in the rain than in the dry, so not sure if that car was actually set up for rainy conditions, but Ellie having a tough time after their earlier highlight, deciding to take a similar line to Jedlin just a couple of laps ago. Yeah, really struggling to keep that one on track. The tires, even the wets may be being cooked at this point. Not quite sure if that's the case. Maybe it's just tire wear. I don't know. Do we have any inside knowledge on that?
On tire wear, I mean,
for the wets.
From that round 2 race, I know that a lot of drivers mentioned that tires if you look,
K's has gone wide.
And that could be Cuckoo gaining that time. There's a massive puddle. Where's that appeared from? A massive... It looks like someone's just dumped a massive bucket of water onto that final corner.
It's a new spring in the final corner.
Yeah.
Fresh spring water in South Africa right there. As Matt's also starting to approach Mammoth, who does not go as deep as Keza into that corner, so keeping it on the track for now. Everyone trying their best to avoid the puddle. Matt's clipping it a little bit. Maybe it helps rotation. Who knows? We could find out in the interviews later. But yeah, going back to Cuckoo and Keza, these guys separated by less than 2 seconds, but it looks like Keza may be starting to pull away a bit.
Yeah, last lap, both cars basically going identical, but that's going to be quite bad for Cuckoo. They're going to be hoping that Ultimate K's now makes a similar mistake.
As that's LA coming into the pits now, that's going to put them way behind anyone else unless there's more crashes that happen. So far, no safety car as well. I don't think anyone voted for a safety car, so I'm not going to earn anything for my my bets this time.
Watching with, I think that's a backmarker car up ahead.
Currently on board with Jedlin in P13.
Oh, but that is someone who they are battling.
Yes, that's HGM1 spun in in turn 1. So not having the best of times. Not the first mistake either. We haven't really caught many of them on camera, but just by looking at the lap times, you can tell sometimes when it happens. And I think Matt's, well, it said that someone just changed position here, but he's very close to the back of Mammoth, but not quite close enough for an overtake. Yeah, sometimes the timings in this game do seem to glitch out a tiny bit, and Matt's really struggling for pace at this point. We've got Gillish and Richie Bugs both setting 56s. Seems like Richie Bugs is more on the pace of the leaders in the wet compared to the dry.
Oh, and I think
Matt's
Cuckoo
is setting pace.
Cuckoo's made a mistake coming out of the final corner.
Oh. Wait. Oh, was it Cuckoo? And Kaze has gone deep into turn 1, but that's not going to cost him too much time.
Cuckoo now 4 seconds back. So they're going to be hoping in these last final laps that Ultimate K's has a detrimental mistake.
Absolutely, as the field fairly spread out now. But yeah, as I was mentioning, Matt's really only kind of setting midfield lap times here. Mid 157s, we're seeing some 58s from the people around him as well. A couple more 57s a lap ago. Trickster seems to have made a big mistake as well. 209 on that last one. And Jedlin also setting 157, but down in P12, so he's going to need to do a lot of those to regain more positions, but there's only 5 laps left in this race. Gillish is half a minute ahead of anyone else. Did we ever find out if he's actually won a title with us before?
No, we have not, but I think... Let me check, I will check one of the documents, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, maybe he won the Stock Car League, which was one of our first
In the meantime, Ellie out of the pits, but Xevious is in there, so maybe we could be seeing another battle for the wooden spoon in the final few laps of this race. Just have to wait and see how long that pit stop takes. Them not having the best evening, but continuing on until the bitter end of the season. So definitely hats off to them for continuing to stay on this absolutely soaking track. It definitely looks like they're underwater at this point.
Yeah, so yeah, Gillis has in fact won, he won our first league in the Brazilian stock cars.
So his second title's definitely been a long time coming. He's got to bring it home in another 4 laps time. Matt's his main contender down in P7. So something absolutely terrible has to happen to Gillish for him to not win this title. And Matt's technically doesn't need to score any points if Gillish doesn't finish the race.
Yeah,
because he is ahead in the standings as things stand, but with the amount of points that you earned for P7, that definitely would not be enough to win him the title.
Yeah, I think Matt's best chance is not to put a tinfoil hat on, would to be wait for him and then take him out. I'm kidding. No, of course
Schumacher
not.
Style.
Yeah.
As Jedlin here getting a very crooked exit out of the final corner. It seemed to be a bit faster, but now in trouble. Slipstream going down to turn 1 for P11. And these guys are actually approaching Max up ahead as well. And I believe they've all just been lapped. Is that Gillish right ahead? Yes, it is. And now side by side with trouble.
Touching a bit of grass there. Trying to keep it on the road. Going too wide into this next corner. Trying to get the best exit.
As you can hardly even see who's who anymore. They're still side by side. Trouble on the inside.
Oh, looks like Trouble made a bit of a mistake. They're under braking. Oh, no, there's a massive puddle there that I think has caught Max off of
Yeah, Max is behind them now.
A bit off there. There's a massive puddle now on that long right-hander, and I'm not going to be surprised that catches a lot of people off.
And it seems like people are all going deep into that corner now, even though there's no puddle forcing them to. So I'm guessing that's just a consequence of tire wear. As Jedlin really looking all over the place to try and get around Trouble for a P10 position now, as Max drifts behind them. And oh, Trouble's getting shoved wide.
And that allows Max to go down the inside of Trouble and retake the P11, but he's going to be wanting to retake that P10 from Jedlin, heading into the hardest braking zone of the course.
Yeah, still a very deceptive corner, though there's a lot of battles going on at the moment, and I want to go to each one of them, but this is a 3-car fight.
Heading
Quickly
round.
gonna check on Mats. He has in fact overtaken W Mammoth for P6, so good move there. Happened off screen, unfortunately. Kunishek and HGM1 were very close a second ago as well. This fight, though, still ongoing between Jedlin, Jedlin, Max, and Trouble for P10.
I think Max
And
going to be
Trouble's
looking
actually
for
had a bad exit there.
the inside line. A bit of contact going into the corner. But Max with that inside line is going to be trying to complete the move. And I think has in fact, but they go on the puddle there. And that's going to
keeps it on the road.
Properly block Jedlin. Yeah, these puddles absolutely terrible. I think he gets a terrible exit, and Jedlin trying to look everywhere for a move as he head around this very long right hander. You got to watch out for that puddle.
Oh my goodness!
Right on that inside there.
Push through the pain, giving up hurts more. That's very, very applicable to this season finale.
Yeah, indeed. I think Jedlin getting a better exit. Going to be trying to shove it down the inside of this corner. Able to keep it in front of Max.
And he's gotten the move done, but is he going to be able to hold on for another 3 whole laps? Because he's already overtaken Max before, so he's really going to have to defend hard.
Jumping over the curb a bit there. And Max down the inside. Have they overcooked it?
Definitely getting a lot of rotation there.
Oh, a bit of contact, a bit more contact. And I think Max actually nailing the braking zone, but Jedlin going to be trying to get that exit speed out. And I think they have, going too wide through Mineshaft.
Oh, this is hard racing. And that's Max again taking the position from Jedlin. Jedlin looking towards the outside, maybe gonna turn it into a switchback. We've seen some people try that before. And trouble getting ever closer as well as these guys keep on fighting hard. Mammoth still not giving up on that position for Mats either, half a second behind him.
And into the hairpin where that massive puddle lays in wait. And who's that? Oh, what's happened?
Yeah, Max has completely missed the corner now, side by side with Trouble. There was a bit of contact there. Looks like it was accidental, but that has cost him massively. And Trouble's bumper now looking somewhat damaged as well. And hold on, while all that's going on, Cuckoo's now right onto the back of Keza again. This
battle for third place in the championship has once again reignited in the rain.
Yes, it has. Quickly gonna double check on this fight though. It looks like Trouble now starting to pull away a bit again, but now HGM1 looking to the inside of Max. These guys have made so many mistakes that they're letting a lot of people close in on him again. Kunishek only 3 further seconds down the road. They're 3 wide. But this is even closer now. We have Cuckoo going around the outside of the final corner to take P4 from Keza.
The Cuckoo,
2 laps left
as it stands, is going to be P3 in the championship. Ultimate Keza is going to need to put the hammer as much as they can.
Where has this pace come from all of a sudden? That was a 158 from Cuckoo, which is only 1/10 slower than Gillish in P1. Keza was setting 2-minute plus laps. Has he chewed through his tires with just 2 laps left to go?
I mean, who knows, but he's still holding on to the back of Cuckoo. This battle for P3 in the championship is extremely close. Ultimate K is looking for the inside. Cuckoo fending him off, holding that, going even tighter. As Ultimate K is almost losing the rear, going over that puddle, which is extremely deadly. As Ultimate K is looking for around the outside. Cuckoo defending into this corner. Can Ultimate K look for a switchback? It's extremely close between these drivers.
Yeah, I mean, that was, again, smart defending from Cuckoo as Trickster now into the pits. That's quite an unexpected one. But, yeah, Cuckoo was just slowly covering that line to give Keza some false hope that he could overtake around that side. As we see Ellie getting out of the way there for this fight for P3 in the championship and P4 in the race. What did I tell you? Cuckoo is in P4 right now. This is destiny.
Oh, but Ultimate K is getting a better run out of the corner. They're too wide once again. And Cuckoo seeming to get a better exit, but Ultimate K's with the inside line as they head round this long right-hand corner, but Cuckoo's a bit off.
Yeah, Cuckoo kind of been washed out wide by the curb there, I think. Pretty clean from Keza so far, and Cuckoo's really going to be trying to push to go for any opportunity. They're heading into the final lap now. It's all to play for. Has Keza just made the winning overtake for that final podium position in the standings?
Oh, McKay's though going a bit wide again. Does that leave them compromised to Cuckoo? No, it does not. But Cuckoo still going to be trying to hang on. It seems like McKay's has extremely low downforce.
That's Trickster out of the race. And hold on, because I believe our leader... Okay, our leader, he's still got about a sector to go, so let's go back to these two. Keza not getting the best run out of turn 1, so he's definitely not completely pulling away from Cuckoo. There's still a bit of hope in this fight.
Battle for P3 in the championship is extremely close. But Cuckoo, I think, wanting it to be a bit closer as they head into this long right-hander. Cuckoo gaining some time. Gaining a lot of time onto the back of Ultimate K's.
In the meantime, just really quick, going to the leader as Gillish comes across the line to win his second MSR title after a crazy season-long championship battle, steals it from Mats in the dying moments. Now going back to this fight for P3 in the standings, which is also not over yet, as Cuckoo still within a shot of taking that position.
Yeah, I mean, all it takes is one ever so slight mistake from Ultimate K's, and that will be Cuckoo into P4. But with only one sector left now, it's going to be a very slim chance of that happening as we head into... Oh no, Cuckoo off!
Cuckoo just went full on into that puddle. I wonder if they just couldn't see it.
I mean,
that looks like it may have sealed the deal. We've only got a few corners left. Keza has got a safe gap. If he doesn't make any mistakes going into the final corner, he will have P3 in the driver's standings, as the puddle now covers almost the entire corner.
yeah, and Ultimate K's is going to be the one to cross the line to get P4, but going to be the one to get P3 in the championship standings.
That was
and what a close race there.
Fought. Incredibly hard fought from Cuckoo. Congrats to Keza for taking that position in the end. So sorry to Cuckoo for cursing that with my comments, as Mats brings it home in P6 ahead of Mammoth. So Mammoth may be making a few mistakes there, because that gap was definitely not that big earlier. Escher, one of the final drivers to not be lapped, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, as they head into the final corner, the one to drive this car for the final time.
As Ellie's car has some big battle scars there.
Yeah, and across the line, I believe, to finish off the season. It's going to be Gillis not only winning the race, but winning the championship title. Richie Bugs in P2, Fennec in P3, Ultimate Case getting that P3 position in the championship, getting the P4 on track ahead of Cuckoo, which was their rival. Matt's in P6, as much as losing the championship, absolutely decimating the team standings. Their team coming first there. Wild Mammoth in P7, Escher in P8, Jedel in P9, Trouble P10, HGM1 in P11, Kunisek in P12, Ellie in P13, and Exevius in P14. And yeah, what an absolute race that was.
And it must be said as well, good sportsmanship from Mats there, saying GG Gills and then correcting it to Gillish. So ever the gentleman as he is, finished P6, but ended up P2 in the driver standings. Gillish winning it at the very last second, and Keza recovering from what's been a fairly inconsistent season to still snatch a podium spot in the standings, as Fennec snatched the actual podium.
Yeah. Incredible. Yeah, no, that was exactly what I was about to do. I need a breather after that race. That was incredibly intense. What a way to finish the season.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some really, really tight races this season. I wouldn't say this was the most action-packed one, but it was still very exciting. Lots of battles up and down the field, and a lot of nail-biting moments for sure, and some very unexpected developments too.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, qualifying was extremely close as well, with seeing the likes of Ellie taking pole. Fortunately, their race not going the same way, but still though, really good race by them, as I'm being told to drink. But yeah, incredibly close race there.
Absolutely. As let's go ahead and check to see who is ready for an interview. It seems like they're still having a bit of a post-race deliberation. Maybe someone giving a post-season speech there, as we do have Richie Bugs coming in now.
Let's bring him in then.
Richie, welcome.
What's going on?
Now, you had a pretty good qualifying, and I thought you actually might be a bit disappointed by that, because that typically means that you wouldn't have too many fights, but something happened in one of the earlier laps, and you ended up having quite a few fights anyway. Tell us what exactly went on there.
Yeah, I mean, I just did what I normally do, and I mean, I spun like the last 4 laps. I spun like twice, so yeah, I had a couple spins this race. Luckily, I had a gap to Fennec, so I had the bandwidth to kind of get back on track, and everything was fine. But no, it was a good race, chaotic, which is a good kind of race, to be honest. And I knew that even if I was leading, I knew Mats and Gillish were likely to get by anyways, because those guys, I mean, they're quick as hell. So I just kind of outbraked myself, lost it, and then Gillish got by, and then I had to pass a couple guys again, and so that was fun. But yeah, very eventful race, lots of fun, and yeah, it was a good time.
For sure, and we saw quite a few people cooking the absolute hell out of their tires during the dry part of the race. What did you feel like the tires were struggling with in the rain part? Was it overheating or was it just tire wear?
Um, so the entire race, my goal was to keep my tires from overheating. Whether it was I took hards in the beginning of the race, and then I transitioned over to wets, and I kept both of them well within their happy window. So that kind of let me just kind of put in the laps, and I did notice that even Mats, after he passed me when it was dry, he wasn't getting away as fast as I thought he would. So I think he kind of cooked his tires, and he was struggling for grip because I was kind of holding on to him. And again, my fastest lap was 9/10 off of his, but he was kind of, from what I could tell, putting in the mid 43s instead of the low 43s consistently. And then I think he kind of drove through the graining, and he got the tires back. But I had that as well. For 2 laps, I was losing time to Fennec. And then he was closing in because my tires were just they were so grained. So I just kind of pushed through it and got the grip back, and just kept going, kind of putting in the laps. Surely, slow and steady. Just kind of after a while, the tires came back to life, and everything was fine. I mean, it wasn't really that big of a deal, anyways.
Yeah, and I mean, you say you had multiple spins, and to still finish P2 despite that definitely goes to show what kind of incredible pace you had there. Now, considering that your focus has not really been on the standings or whatever points you're getting and more on battles, can you maybe tell us what your most enjoyable fight was across the whole season, if you do remember it?
Oh, geez, that's like asking me to remember what I ate for breakfast. I have no idea what happened like 2 minutes ago. Like I can barely remember that I finished second, to be honest. But no, we had a couple good battles. A lot with Cuckoo. A lot of like high intensity moments with Cuckoo. So that was really good. Had a couple of good moments with Trouble, Fennec this race, and just kind of. It was kind of a back and forth, and K's, K's with the butt clenching moments with what was that, race 2, race 3. It was all. It was. I mean, overall, it was a good season. Lots happened. It definitely wasn't boring. Yeah, I mean, the cars had a lot to do with it. Again, a lot of people complain with grip with these. It's kind of a weird car to drive because of the spool. You want to kind of drive it part throttle to get it to actually neutral steer, because if you drive it off throttle, then you're just murdering your front tires because it just wants to understeer because it's got a spool rear end. So it's a little different than everything else, and that leads to some interesting battles and whatnot, especially with different driving styles. I had very different lines into one of the corners than a couple of the drivers, and I literally saw headlights getting big real quick because I'm assuming they were braking much later. But I was braking earlier so I can get a better exit out of the corner. And luckily I didn't get taken out doing that, but it's always a little risky when you're doing that and you have different driving styles going into, the same corner in 15 different ways. So, but
Yeah.
this car kind of accentuates that, so you get some really good battles with it.
Yeah, exactly. And with all of that being said, do you have any wishes for next season?
I don't know. I like my shit boxes and my low horsepower stuff. That's always fun because it's harder to go fast, and I mean it's hard to go fast in something like a Formula One, obviously, because you're on absolute knife edge the entire time, and if you make one wrong move, you're in the wall. But it's just like Miatas and stuff like that. Like even like the G55s, we had a series with those, the Janettas. and they don't get off the line at all. Their 0 to 60 time is maybe, and but I mean, mid corner and all that stuff, they're very happy. They're very good cars, and you can kind of bounce them off each other and not get into much trouble. So you get into really good racing with those, even though they're slow as hell.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at the poll for next season, and this is going to be my final question because we've got a lot of big names waiting for us tonight. Did you then vote for the GT1? Is that going to be the slowest car that's in the poll for next season?
Well, it's not so much. It's not so much that. I mean, if you're going open wheel versus closed wheel, I mean, I prefer the GT1s. I just prefer the dynamics and how they drive. However, stuff like the Nissan, it's a pig. It doesn't turn, but holy shit, it's insane in a straight line. I do like the Formula Raises personally. Out of that whole list, that's probably my favorite car on that list. It's just they don't make for great racing because if you get anywhere near, like, dirty air is absolutely a thing with those.
Yeah.
So it's very, very hard to race them. So if you're same pace as somebody else, chances are, they can slow down, 2/10 and save their tires, and you are back there absolutely murdering your car trying to get by, and it's more than likely not going to happen. They're not very conducive to good racing per se. They're fun, but they're not, they don't make for that bumper to bumper, door to door racing that you can really get with closed fenders.
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree with you on that, and hope we can see some more slower classes being picked in the future, because while it might not be as thrilling to drive, it's definitely more thrilling to watch. So yeah, thank you for coming on, Richie. Looking forward to seeing what you can do in those straight line monsters next season.
Yeah, we'll check it out and we'll see what we can do. Have a good day.
You too.
See ya.
All right, now let's go ahead and bring in our race and championship winner, Gillish. Gillish, welcome and congrats on taking the title. It's your first in a long time, it seems.
Yeah, it's been a while. The first one was the stock car, the first league I joined.
Yeah, exactly. So how does it feel to be back on top after so many seasons of Kia domination?
It's nice. It's cool.
All right, tell us a bit about your race, because obviously you didn't start in P1.
No. Well, I think the race started in quali basically because I guess there was a big split between people who managed a lap on slicks and who didn't, and it looked like Mats didn't. At least that was, of course, what I was focused on.
Yeah, exactly. He ended up having a pretty awful qualifying because of those changing conditions at the end. A lot of people getting caught out by that.
Yeah, I wonder if he tried it on slicks or maybe he messed up his lap or he didn't change. But it was way faster in the end. Yeah, and in the race, I tried to, well, take it easy sounds sounds bad, but be safe.
Yeah, flat 43 is just taking it easy, guys.
Yeah, be steady. And the guys ahead of me, they made way pretty quickly. I think they had some spins also. I don't remember exactly, but yeah. So that was perfect. And I thought actually I was a bit anxious because I think in lap 10 Mats was back into P2.
Yeah.
And initially he was making up good ground, but I could pick up the pace a bit, and then it was 10 seconds for a long time, and went to 12, and then it started raining, and I think he spun probably, and had damage and pitted. Yeah, and then it was just bring it home for me. Of course, don't do anything stupid.
So do you feel like you pushed harder in the dry or in the wet conditions?
Certainly in the dry halfway through, because I thought I need to keep the gap. Also, I need to not give Mats the idea he will catch me easily. So.
So you're trying to avoid lulling him into a false sense of security. Interesting.
Yeah, I guess. Well, it's easier to push if you're 10 seconds ahead than when you're 2 seconds ahead, because a mistake will.
I mean, it's definitely true, but since you were still going that fast, how were you keeping the tires alive? Because we saw a lot of people really, really cooking their own.
Yeah, I think in these races, when you're driving the same car for a long time, I get better throttle control, especially when I'm not under pressure. I'm not great under pressure when someone's behind me, but like this, and then I wasn't sliding so much, but still getting the traction. So
You make it
yeah,
sound easy.
it was fun. I liked it. It's also nice that I wasn't always the fastest this season, but every race I brought it home, and it paid off in the end.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's one of the things that made it so exciting is it wasn't massively predictable. I mean, we've had some cases before where you've been the fastest over almost the entire season and you only lose points from crashing or DNFing. And this time it was definitely a lot of variation on pace, so love to see that.
Yeah.
Hope to see more of that next season. Speaking about next season, do you remember which car class that you've voted for in the poll?
I don't remember because I didn't vote yet.
Oh, okay.
I-
Well, the current options are, I believe, late 1990s F1 car, 2012 F1 car, and GT1, right?
Ooh, I will certainly not vote the F1 cars. So
Alright.
it's GT1.
I mean,
Yeah, it's
GT1
definitely going to be a lot of speed either way.
seems
Yeah.
to be winning by 11 points ahead of Formula Reza with 22 and Formula Reza with 11, which is the closest one.
Right. Well, happy to hear that. I'm not a huge fan of F1 racing online.
Yeah, the dirtier can be pretty brutal, and I mean, both online as in real life, we've seen it a lot before. Speaking of all that, though, do you have any particular other wishes for next season?
I need to fix my rig. I'm just on a loose chair, and I have a load cell pedal, so my chair is moving around a bit.
I am actually kind of shocked that you're doing that well with that kind of setup.
It's not too bad, you know. I can brake 100% and not move the chair, but yeah, it's not perfect. It would be nicer if it's a bit more consistent. Sometimes the chair shifts a bit.
Yeah. Well, it's one thing that definitely seemed consistent was your pace over many races this season, and again, Gillis, congrats on winning that title and the final race of the season.
Yeah,
It's been a joy to watch. And Nismo, do you have any more questions for our title winner before we move on to third place in the championship?
No. No, nothing from me. Unfortunately, you've taken all my questions, so.
You've had the whole interview to think.
Yeah.
I've simply been reading your mind. No, but yeah, thank you, Gillis, for coming on. It's been a pleasure having you, and good luck for next season.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
You too.
All right. Now, I do not have the ability to drag people in this time, so Nismo, you're going to have to pull in that cheese man.
I will bring in the cheese man himself.
Mr. Cheeseman, if that is in fact your real name, congratulations on taking P3 in the championship at the very end of the race. Wow.
Yeah, thank you. That is in fact not my real name, but it will it was a really exciting race. I mean, who would have seen Ellie taking pole coming? Certainly I didn't, and I didn't want to, even though I don't want to slack her abilities, but that was still a big surprise. And yeah, fight with Cuckoo was really good. I only shat my pants like 3 times. And no, really good. Obviously, I missed Bathurst, so to have an exciting battle like that in the end for the championship, still really good.
Yeah, made it well worth it. And we saw Cuckoo come back at you at the end of the race. Did you make a mistake, or were you just kind of losing pace there?
Yeah, absolutely made a mistake. I also had a bit of an unorthodox approach when it comes to setup for this track. So, like, my theory was to have a fairly soft suspension and very stiff anti-roll bars, just to have some pace in the dry, and then dump all the anti-roll bars, because you can do that in this car, and then have like a really soft car for the rain. And it only worked medium well, to be honest. Because Cuckoo still had pace. Like, I don't know, like her her corner entries were a lot better than mine, and I had the edge on the exits. But yeah, in the end, it was just skill issues from my side, to be honest. But still, it didn't make it less exciting.
Yeah, and speaking of excitement, you had a fight earlier on with Veilside as well, which ended in him flying off the track. Did you guys have contact there?
I don't think we had contact, but it's a bit of a diagonal line over that hill on the braking zone, and he launched pretty late. So I'm not sure. Like, I janked to the left once I realized it, but I'm not sure he might have touched the tiniest bit of dirt on the outside or something like that. Yeah, I can't tell without looking at the replay.
Yeah, it all happened pretty quickly, so definitely maybe stuff for the stewards to look at, or any people with the replay in their save files. But yeah, it was really interesting watching you guys fight, particularly with Cuckoo. When you'd lost that position, what was going through your mind?
Yeah, I mean, only words that I don't want to say live on stream, I guess. But yeah, I was really a bit angry with myself because I was trying to take it easy and everything, but it felt like by taking it easy, I was doing more mistakes. I cannot really explain it. But yeah, I was really happy to be able to get that position back, because I knew I had at least a slight pace advantage in the wet, which was the opposite on the dry. But yeah, and also I don't know if you saw the pit exit move of Cuckoo. That was really intense.
Yeah, it's actually been clipped during the stream, so we've definitely got footage of that.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I don't know. It was really intense. I had to keep a cool head for the last 2 laps, and I was really lucky that Cuckoo got us slightly wide in that downhill left-hander.
Yeah, they actually went completely through that puddle on the final lap as well, so that was what ended up completely sealing the deal there. Can you tell us exactly how your overtake on Cuckoo went? Because I think we did see it, but I just want to hear it from your perspective.
I think I managed to get alongside on the uphill hairpin, and I forced her to the outside line, and I think, yeah, to be honest, I think she just overshot it a bit. I definitely left the lane, but I think she went slightly too wide and touched the gravel there, and yeah, that's pretty much it, I think.
All right, well, that was definitely one of the craziest fights we've seen all season. Final thing I want to ask you is, with that qualifying, what was there anything going around in voice chat? Because we were definitely going absolutely crazy over those laps.
No, gladly the people are really disciplined. So until really the last car crossed the line, there was nothing on. But everybody was pretty shocked to see Mats that low, and also see Ellie on P1. Yeah, it was certainly very surprising. Really sad for Mats. I actually let him through during the race to give him a shot.
Yeah, we caught that as well. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It was tough from the get-go. I think he started P11 or P12, something really down low, and Gillis was P2 with or P3 with essentially slower cars ahead.
Yeah, and, by the time he was up in P2, I think it was an 8-second gap, and he was only really matching his pace at best, and not all the time. So
yeah, the level of especially these two in the league was crazy. Even with me missing Bathurst, at best I would have gained 70 points or something, and then I would have still been miles off those two in the whole league. So yeah, hats off to those guys. Really impressive. I'm a bit sad for Mats because despite his pace, it would have been his very first championship with MSR actually.
Yes. And that's and he's been with us for a long time, and he's always been up there fighting for podium positions, pretty much.
Always P2, P3, but at least they won the team championship. I guess that's something.
I think he's also got the biggest winning margin of the season, right?
He also has every single fast lap of the season except Termas, because Ellie set a lap early on in the light rain race with slicks.
So yeah, that is definitely something to look back upon pretty proudly. Unfortunately, still not quite Matt's season at the very end with a chaotic final race, but yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what he can do in the future, and if that title is ever gonna come to him, because he's definitely got the talent for it. So yeah, Kaysen, thank you very much for coming on. Congrats again with your P3, and looking forward to see what you can do if you can repeat that next season.
Yeah. Let me just say real quick, really, really big thank you to everybody joining. It was a pleasure as always. Like really, not a lot of safety cars, not a lot of tickets. Really, really clean racing in general. So it's amazing to have all the guys around. And also to you guys, obviously, amazing job on the commentary. Would not be the same without you guys. I really, really enjoy watching those streams back. And yeah, I hope to have you guys back for next season.
Yeah, it's been an honor and very much a pleasure as well with the kinds of crazy fights we've seen on track this season. Potentially maybe a bit less next season with all the faster high downforce cars, but can't write it off until we've seen it, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, then have a great time with the other interviewers and see you guys next season.
Yeah, have a good one.
See you next season.
Yeah.
Now, should we bring in Fennec or Cuckoo? Well, I guess when we bring in Cuckoo, we might as well bring in Escher because they're teammates. So let's bring in Fennec first.
Yeah.
Fennec,
Hello.
that is a podium finish, my friend.
That is, and I did not expect it because I did not realize Matt had apparently put it in a wall.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he braked on a puddle and.
Oh no, we saw him go into the pits, but I'm surprised you didn't notice that during the race.
No, I thought I was finishing fourth.
Do you not have the interface on during the race?
Yes, I do.
Oh, you straight up just didn't see the positions.
Oh, I was essentially just making sure that I didn't spin and checking that I wasn't losing too much time to the cars behind.
Well, that is
Which, to be fair,
absolute
wasn't too bad
focus and
considering
commitment
what
right
happened.
there. And paid off in the end. I mean, you got P3 in a very, very competitive field. Where did you qualify again?
Third.
Yeah, so
Managed to
that's
get those slicks on at the
third.
correct time.
Yeah, so third from lights to flag. That's pretty impressive, especially considering the fact that it's been in multiple different conditions. We had dry and wet, with of course the transition period as well. Considering the fact that the standings make it look like you didn't have any action, but I'm sure that's not the case. Can you tell us a bit more about your fights in this race?
A good one with Ellie at the very start of the race. Managed to get a good exit in the dry and tried to move around the outside. Ended up going on to the grass slightly and then losing the place back to Ellie and also to Richie. But that continued for a little bit, though with not that many moves. Other than that, didn't really have any fighting of note. There was, a very small amount, but normally resulted in mistakes of people behind or mistakes of, I guess, Ellie later on in the race.
Now,
so those ended quite quickly.
Now you ended up qualifying in third place, which is mighty impressive, and we saw a lot of people get caught out by the changing weather conditions there as well. How did you decide to go ahead and set a lap on slicks towards the end?
Essentially just remembering the first race of the season where Ellie, in fact it was, got fastest lap by at the end of the race going on to slicks. She was like near last or something. Just remember that, thought, okay, I've got essentially enough time to do 2 laps to warm up the tyres and then go over the line for a flying one. So I basically just did the first 2, or the first one trying to check if it was going to work, and then it seemed like it would be quick once they're a bit warmer, so I continued with the second one and managed to get a decent lap in. So.
And since you ended up coming to that conclusion and greatly benefiting from it, why do you think half of the lobby didn't?
Just not really expecting how fast the track would dry up, really. Also, because before the tyres warm up, you really have to use softs, because otherwise you're not getting the hards up to temperature.
And did you use softs in the race as well?
Not grippy. No, I used hards in the race, and then obviously swapped to wets once the storm came in.
Yeah, so using pretty much all available compounds today and getting an impressive result out of it. Fennec, do you have more questions for Fennec? Sorry, Nismo, do you have more questions for Fennec?
No, except for looking at the vote for the next season, it looks like to be a landslide for GT1. I'm guessing you'd be one to vote for that as well?
Yep, GT1 and V12, I'm pretty happy with both. Not a massive fan of the Formula Racers, but the other two both pretty good classes in my opinion. So I voted for both.
So they don't quite suffer as much from the dirty air as the Razors?
The V12s or the GT1s? Or
Both.
I guess. I haven't done a massive amount with the V12s in multiplayer. I don't think they're that bad. Considering they are older cars, there's probably a bit less air on them.
Mhm.
But they are quite fun to drive. And the GT1s I've done online races with them, and I mean they're fun to drive. And I mean the dirty air exists, but it doesn't kill the racing.
All right, well, that is definitely good news to hear ahead of the next season. Do you have any particular wishes for that season?
No, not really. Just
All right.
hope it's a decent season.
Perfectly content. No new rules. No new bonus points or
No.
trip to Fiji if you win.
I mean, that's always nice, but I doubt that's going to happen.
Maybe
I do
one day
enjoy
when
for
we
this
bring in the
league
big sponsors on
addition
Dismo
of
stream.
being allowed to use the curbs on the outside. So
Wait, can you repeat that one?
I enjoyed the slight change for this league that you're now allowed to use the curbs on the outside.
Oh, absolutely. I
Make
think
it
that's
a
made
bit
the
nicer,
racing a
especially
lot
when
more
going
fair.
side by side with people. So
Yeah, exactly. It's basically allowing people to kind of use the track more the way it was intended to be used,
yeah, absolutely.
which is always great to see. Fennec, thank you very much for coming on. You've displayed a great deal of consistency today, which I also congratulate you on. And yeah, enjoy that P3.
Thank you. I will just ask you one question before I leave.
Uh-oh.
We
How many
ask the
commentators'
questions
curses
here.
have you got this race?
This
Wait, say that again?
oh, it wasn't that bad. It was 3.
How many commentators' curses?
Only 3. Maybe 4.
Yeah, 2 or 3, something like
And
that.
have those been added to the 33
Yes,
yet?
yes, they have. It was
Yes, okay.
originally 30, which is still.
This is definitely the most you've ever.
Yeah,
added
I
one
mean, I
season.
know for a fact in the because I remember I did actually track it. I can't remember because I didn't save it. But for the stock car league, we had somewhere in the 20s, and I thought, nah, we're not gonna get anywhere near that. Oh god, I never saw this coming.
We're gonna
No,
hit triple digits one day.
I expected it to be similar. I didn't expect it to be this much higher.
Yeah.
Our power is growing.
Your power is indeed growing.
All right, well that just gives us even more to look forward to next season. So yeah, thank you very much, Fennec, for coming on and asking the real questions tonight. And yeah, looking forward to seeing you then.
Thank you. Thank you for streaming all the races. It's been fun. See you next league.
Absolutely, see ya.
See ya.
Okay, are we gonna bring in Cuckoo and Asher at the same time now?
Yeah, we can do.
Oh, hello.
Hello there.
Hi.
Starting. Oh, hey, yeah. Hello to both of you to start with. Cuckoo though,
Hello.
you had an absolute ding dong fight for that P3 position in the championship, and it went way down to the wire with just like 2 laps to go.
Yeah.
That was an incredible battle. So first of all, congrats on that and making it that far. And condolences on not getting that P4 in the end. I may have accidentally cursed you, so sorry for that.
Oh no,
Um,
I cursed myself. I nearly ran out of fuel.
Oh,
I was desperately fuel saving, and I made a slight mistake trying to do that, and I let Kays through because I was trying not to run out of fuel. Literally, I went on to lap 34. Crew chief was like, "You'll be out of fuel on the next lap." I was like, "You fucking what?" He was like, "Pit this lap." I'm like, "No." Literally, I looked. I had like 6.5 liters going on to lap 34, 35. I was like, "Oh god."
wait, so how much did you have by the end when you crossed the line?
0.3.
Oh, so in the end, you probably could have pushed it to the end then.
I doubt it. I was aggressively fuel saving from that moment on when he
Oh,
told
that
me.
is-
So I think if I pushed flat out, I would have run out.
Well, that is definitely
I don't-
really
I don't
cutting it
think
close, and
It would have happened.
I've got to say, I did not realize at all that you were fuel saving. It looked like you were pushing like crazy, which
I was
mean,
trying to strike a nice balance, but
Yeah.
It's in the end, slight mistake. Kay's got back through. That's That's what happened. It was funny actually because I had a spin before that and I dropped to like 4 seconds behind him and then I managed to catch back up again and yeah,
Oh, wow.
it was honestly since I caught him the first time after I got past Trixer and then Veilside speared off into the gravel. I caught up to the back of him. I went deep into a corner and then I had to fight my way back past I think Veilside and Trixer again. And then caught up to the back of him again, right as it started to rain. And then we went into the pit, literally from like lap 18 to the end, we were fighting each other. It was, literally like nearly, like half the race we were fighting.
And I mean, just looking at your fastest lap, which of course would have been set in the dry, but you did seem to have pace that was better than Kay's on this occasion.
Yeah, I did. I had the edge in the dry, and we were pretty on par in the wet. It's just, I made a mistake on my final qualifying lap. I went deep into turn 1, so that really cost me in qualifying on my only run on the slick tires. So that cost me and put me behind the Saiyajins that I had to fight through. And then, that other mistake I made going deep into the gravel and falling back behind Trixer again and having to overtake him again really cost me. So by the time I caught Kays the second time, I literally got on the back of him like 2 laps later. It started raining, so I couldn't capitalise on my dry pace as much as I was hoping. I was kind of hoping I'd be able to build a gap and then be a bit safer in the wet, but it didn't end up happening, and then we ended up having that fight all the way to the end.
Yeah, which I mean, having a fight with your championship rival that goes down to the wire is definitely not something that happens every season. So I'm glad we got to see that at least. But it does seem that if you had no mistakes at all that race, that you might have even potentially beaten Fennec for P3 there.
Fennec? Oh, what, for third?
Yeah, in the race.
Oh well. Why? What happened in the race?
Well, Fennec finished P3 about 16 seconds ahead of Kaiser.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they were that costly mistakes, but yeah, they just definitely not ideal. Probably did hurt me in terms of K's, but I'm not sure it would have got me Phoenix.
Well, either way.
I overtook K's on the pit lane exit as well.
Yeah, we actually had that clipped during the stream because we caught that on camera. It was a crazy pit lane battle.
Yeah,
and
I saw I was having the better exit because his pit box was right at the end. So he didn't have any momentum coming out of the pit lane. I was like, okay. And then, I got to the line, put the limiter off, just booted it completely, and I realised, I can actually sneak it up the outside here. So I went for it, managed to keep it just in the lines.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely...
Bonkers.
I definitely think we saw all sides of Cuckoo today. We saw you do offensive driving, going for overtakes. We saw you do defensive driving. We saw you making mistakes. We saw the whole thing. So I think that was a very representative race. In the end, almost enough to clinch P3 in standings.
I pushed so hard. If I just had a little bit more fuel, I wouldn't have had to fuel save, and I would have probably done it. But,
that is definitely the one thing that you should never ever risk in the setuut. Is fuel.
I thought I didn't risk it. I literally, it told me, okay, you've put like what 20, you've put like 30 laps in the car from the start, and then you're putting 8 laps of fuel in at the pit stop. I thought I would be fine. I was not fine, as it turned out. So just not quite enough there.
Yeah, but that does go to show that you did have the pace to really get that result in the end. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you can do.
Yeah,
and some of the other cars in future seasons.
It was good pace. Just very very close. Obviously, we all know how strong K's is as well. So that was it was always going to be a tall order. I mean, I got lucky that he wasn't at Bathurst as well. So just close one.
Absolutely, and glad to see you taking it well, because it was definitely.
It's still a personal best for, I think, both of us in the drivers and in the teams, so I can't be too unhappy, but being a single point behind K's and missing out on the third in the drivers is just, it does sting a little bit, but, personal bests all around for us, I think it is. Did you end up with a PB in the drivers, Escher? I think you did.
Yeah.
I think that was enough, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Escher, you finished...
8th.
Yeah, you finished 8th, and that was actually just look at the standings for the previous race, and that's 2 8th places in a row. So you may be in contention for that new Mr. Consistent title. Did you enjoy that race? Because I saw you had quite a few fights as well.
At first, after the quali, I was like, okay, just go to bed, just turn off everything here, and I wasn't having any of that. Like today,
And what position did you qualify in?
18th, 17th. I wasn't even, it wasn't even registering with me that the track dried up. I wasn't even trying to go with slicks.
I thought I was being really sneaky at first, and no one else had noticed.
I had a very bad run on the wet tires, and I was like so pissed off. I just didn't want to do anything anymore. I was feeling so horrible.
But Cuckoo, why didn't you share your qualifying strategy with Escher?
It's obvious.
I would have had to tell everyone. Essentially, I didn't know if Escher would have seen the Discord message. So
I mean, you could have said in voice chat, "Hey Escher, check your messages."
Oh, I could have done, but yeah, I didn't think about that, so I was just
Yeah,
I was purely focusing on the battle in the championship.
Yeah,
understandable.
I was still quite burnt out, like the endurance race on Saturday, and I'm a person with very low battery capacity. You know, I get fed up with stuff if I do them too much, and also like I like those cars, but I think okay, it was maybe one race too much, and I was like looking forward to something else, and of course this wasn't a race where you can relax. You know, it was very hard, but. Yeah, I had a decent start. I nearly took out someone, and maybe also could have crashed my car, but it went okay. And then I was even 19th one, and then I just fought my way back. And I got into the groove, and I just started to understanding the track. I don't know. I do very badly with late turns, with like late apexes. I don't have the patience to get all around them. I just hit the apex way too early on those, and KYALAMI, they only consists of late apexes.
Yeah, pretty much.
And yeah, I even got my best lap in the race with worn tires and everything, because I just started to understand the track.
Now, since you did overtake 10 people to finish in 8th place, did you get most of those positions in the dry or in the wet?
Half.
Both.
like a couple in the dry, a couple in the wet, and some. Of course, like many people were spinning. Even I spun 3 times, and I even hit like the wall, but only slightly. I was very lucky. Yeah, but it was very hard. I needed more practice for that, but of course I had to prepare for the endurance race on Saturday, so it was a bit stressful for me. I'm not used to that, to focus on 2 things at once, like in a week. But okay, I'm just happy that I got my head down somehow and I found my groove.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm pretty sure.
Without those sorry. Okay.
No, it's okay. You can go ahead.
Without those mistakes, I would have been even in front of Mammoth, and I wasn't even slower than him. And the pace was good. Even
Yeah, I mean, if you could have been with Mammoth, then you might have even finished ahead of Mats, because they were having quite the fight at the end of the race as well.
Yeah, he had another pit stop.
Yeah, Mats ended up crashing, so.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was
no good.
Yeah, I sent him straight down to P7, and I think he only overtook Wild Mammoth after that. So
I was wondering what happened to him.
What was that?
I didn't know what happened to the Saiyajins either. It was literally like lap 26 or something. I was looking at the whole board and I was like, hang on a minute.
Yeah, very early they were behind me.
Where's Max? He's gone. I thought he was in front of me the whole time. And then I suddenly realised, actually, Kays is the only one in the way.
Yeah, that also was was kept me going, like seeing the Thajan struggling, and I was like, okay, just do your race, Asher, and get through it, and we will secure P3 in the team standings.
Yeah, and I mean, you definitely had a good performance on the race because you got the same result last time, but that was from a better qualifying position. So yeah, lots of work ahead of you in this race, and you delivered. So definitely something to be proud of. You say you're looking forward to changes. Would you like to see any changes for the next season, or is there any particular car class that you think is going to be great?
I would say GT1.
It's smashing it. It's got 24 votes to 11 for the Formula
Wow.
Razor.
But in a way they're a bit similar to the V8. Maybe something more outlandish, like a Formula car would have been maybe something new. But I
Like
like
the supercars.
Yeah, maybe. But I like the GT1. Maybe I will try this time to drive them properly with stick. Like the Super V8, they also use stick shifting, but I wasn't using it this time because I noticed too late, and I didn't want to relearn driving this car with stick. I was using my shifter pedals.
Do you think you're going to be faster with stick?
In a long time.
No, slower, because you have to get your hand off the wheel, and you even I've seen some onboards. You even do some heel and toe action, like
Yeah, but like you can do like the secret technique of power shifting into neutral.
yeah, or maybe that.
That's the money shift right there.
Yeah, it will be also quite.
Oil slick behind me blows engine.
Yeah, it will also be quite hard driving the GT1s for sure.
I've not driven them in quite a while myself, actually.
I also
Not
would
for
be
a
fine
long
with the
time.
Formula Razor, but we'll see.
All right, well, that is definitely good to hear that there's lots of options that you will be enjoying out there. And yeah, next season will be one of those three choices, the 1990s F1 cars, the Razors from 2012, or the GT1. So you got that to look forward to next season for the people watching the stream and the ones driving in the actual races. Thank you very much, you guys, for coming on. I think almost every round, or have you guys actually been in here every time?
I've been here every round.
Yeah, me too.
I definitely have. I think Escher missed a couple
You mean interviews or races?
interviews. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I missed maybe 2 interviews or 3. I don't know.
Yeah, it took you a few rounds to start coming in with me.
Yeah.
Well, with
Let's
that
build
being
up
said,
confidence.
Yeah.
with that being said, Nismo, do you have any questions for our consistent media personalities here?
Yeah. Other than one hilarious meme in the Discord in the league
Oh
chat.
yeah, it had to be done. It had to be done.
Wait,
No,
you gotta
it
put
did.
that on stream, Nismo.
Hold on, let's see if
know
I
it
could
had to be done.
grab it now. One sec. Yeah, I'll put it on. I'll put it on stream right now. Here we are.
Had to be done. I'm sorry. I thought of this days in advance, so have you know.
It could have been. It just had to be this meme.
I mean, it is a good one though. It is a really good one.
It just had to be done. Any time you finish P3 behind 2 of the regulars, you've got to. You've got to break that one out.
Oh, but,
Oh, actually, I do have one more question for you, Cuckoo. Is I think on the last lap you drove straight into a puddle. Did that just not visually appear on your screen?
What corner was that?
It's like the long left-hander before you kind of get the hairpin that has like a really long turning circle.
Oh,
In
what?
the final
Going up
sector.
the hill? Going up the hill? Or
No, down the hill in the final sector.
Down the hill, final sector. What? Into the final corner, or?
No. Like there's a long left-hander, then you have a really sharp hairpin right-hander.
Oh yes, sorry, you mean yes, the long downhill left-hander.
Yes, there was a puddle there.
that was there for me. Yeah.
Was there a reason for taking that line on that lap?
It's just experimenting, really. There wasn't really much that it could do to me anymore.
No, fair enough.
Right, let's try something. Maybe it'll be okay, and I'll close up to the back, and yeah.
Although it would have been really bad if you ended up spinning out and then had to spend that 0.3 liters trying to get back up to speed again.
I suppose so, but I'd sort of been tagging that puddle quite a lot for most of the race and my practice, so I wasn't that scared of it. I sort of knew how the car would react to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There are some puddles it's kind of okay for me to touch, and that was one of them. I knew that puddle wasn't that scary for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me
But
too.
there was other puddles that were like terrifying. Like don't even look at them, or they'll kill your whole family, like kind of deal.
Don't even blink, indeed. But yeah, thank you very much for coming on, the both of you. It's been very interesting interviewing you guys almost every race, and watching you guys on track fighting for the big points. So yeah, good luck
I'm
next
just glad
season.
you're not sick of us yet.
No, I definitely appreciate y'all coming in here and giving us some nice insights.
Yeah, and now you guys
hopefully,
have
hopefully we'll have another good season next time.
4 weeks
Quite
holidays
looking
now.
forward to doing the livery for us, because Escher did this one, so I've got dibs on the next one.
Yeah,
So,
maybe
that should be quite fun.
Maybe we'll get out of the C rating this time if you do the livery.
I'm pretty sure my Blue Crew one I did for IndyCar ended up being C rated as well.
Yeah.
It's just you guys, I'll be
Absolute
honest.
travesty, not gonna lie.
If you sneak a mango in there somewhere, I'm sure it'll get us
mid
too.
at best, is what you're saying.
You know, I always take bribes. I'm kidding.
What are your rates then?
We gonna clip this?
It's been exposed for everyone to hear.
Also, Carl Lover in chat saying Puddlewick. Thanks very much for coming on, the both of you, and very much good luck to you as well for next season, and for both the season and the livery tier list.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have some good stuff to talk about. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, and
Alright.
actually,
Yeah,
one
thank
final
you.
thing I do want to mention is you do have a responsibility to give us a beautiful livery, because with the amount of fighting you guys do on track, you get a lot of screen time.
I'll try my best. I've got a few ideas tucked away.
All right, looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Alright, see you
Have a
next
good one,
season.
Escher, Cuckoo.
Bye.
All right, now let's bring in our final interviewee for the night.
Yeah, he's been patiently waiting for quite a
Throw
long
me
time.
out.
Oh.
No, I go.
It's almost like we've been holding him hostage in here. Welcome, Trouble, and thank you for bailing me out there with the vote. I appreciate the Niz money.
No worries. You can have your 15 as money.
I'll use it very wisely on many hydrates in the future. You had a titanic battle in in the first half of the race and the second half of the race. You had a lot of fights.
I did. Not many of them went that well for me. Well, yeah. At the start, I just kept slowly falling back, and what I realized is because somehow I've done something that's even more stereotypically me that even I usually manage. You know, lack of practice, right?
Yes.
I managed to get into the practice session, do a few laps.
Oh, okay.
Did quali, and then got into the race, and realized that I'd not done a single lap of driving with that car on that track in the dry. I had only driven wet laps. So I had no clue what I was doing. So I had okay pace at the start, but realized that basically I kept falling back a bit because I wasn't confident enough on the brakes, or to an extent like with track limits or outer corners. So I just couldn't really, like, I'd basically not be able to attack very much unless someone else was compromising whoever I was overtaking. So it basically, what just kept happening was that I was just bundled up behind with no way to pass because of how close and like how narrow it was. And then I basically was just waiting for someone to make a mistake, and in the meantime, I'd be held up and someone else behind would have the space to get a good run on me, and I'd just lose a position. And that would just happen like once every couple of laps. But yeah, after a while, when it spread out, I ended up being a bit more okay, getting into a few fights that were a bit more even, and a bit more having a bit more space to play with. So yeah, it was fun. I wasn't great, but I didn't bottle it that much. So that's where the P10 came from.
Definitely seems like the more practice you get, the more skill issues you suffer from. So that's maybe something to learn from for next season. Also, I just noticed.
Yeah,
in the,
actually, you could say that. I've done very little practice this season. Which, to be fair, is the same as most seasons. So really, what you said about more practice, meaning consistency, or like messing up less. Really, that means nothing because equally I've got not very much practice in any of them. But what I did do was be far more consistent because I had a look at my finishing positions, and I've only finished in 4 positions: 10th, 11th, 12th, and 15th.
Oh,
So
almost getting the perfect range there.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's only 15th other than the 3 that are together. Like, I don't understand that. I have 3 15th place finishes. And I think like 3 10ths as well. So it's like, I don't know, consistency's gone up, except for being in 15th every so often. I don't understand it.
Hold on, I'm just quickly looking for something here. I think it's been deleted. Well, there was an error in the team standings a second ago that said that the #1 team this season won with less points than the following team, but that has now been corrected.
Okay, I didn't see that. Although, speaking of the team standings, because of the Cyanogen Racing people having various issues in the last couple of laps, although actually I think Max might have left early or disconnected, like, at the finish line. So
yeah, we definitely. I remember losing a couple drivers.
About Max, but I know Trixer bottled it on like the second to last lap.
Oh.
And in doing so, the team of me and Fennec has managed to overtake the Cyanogen Racing team, who were quite a bit behind, and open up the gap to the team of Kaiser and Nexus because of how well Fennec did. So yeah, nice fourth teams finishing standings, whatever, English, something.
Yeah, I mean, congrats on that, because those guys were competing for some very high positions in the drivers as well. So I do remember a couple drivers having to end their races early because of internet or game issues and stuff like that. But yeah, I think they did drop out towards the end because I remember them on track for the most part.
At this point, that's par for the course for Eddie. So
yeah, pretty much. It's not been his season for sure.
No, it is not.
This is a question that I've asked many a racer so far, but what are your wishes for next season?
Be a bit more confident in the car. As in, well, it's because it's different cars, and this one I felt was quite sketchy, which is probably why actually the consistency has been okay, because I haven't been pushing it too much. Because otherwise I would bin it. But yeah, basically just basically have similar number or like similarly fun battles, because I did have quite a lot. But I do feel like in some cases it would have been nicer for me if I was confident in those battles and actually able to keep it going.
And do you have a plan on how you're going to achieve that?
No, it's just hoping that I'm going to be more confident in the GT1 cars, which, from what little I have driven them, I do prefer them. So, I'm just hoping it's the GT1s. I've not driven... Well, I think I've driven the V12s once or twice, and they're okay. Although I don't think I've driven them since the last update, so we'll see. But if it's the GT1s, I know that that's basically a guarantee that I'll be more confident in it. So it's just hoping on car choice rather than me doing anything, because as is inevitable, I will not be doing any extra practice.
Yeah, that is that's definitely the trouble that we do know and love, of course. But one thing that you've also been very involved in is the betting scene over here on stream, and we've had very few safety cars in recent memory. Do you think we might see more with the faster cars?
I think we probably will, because actually part of the thing with me being more consistent was that I wasn't pushing as hard, and I think that might also be the reason why we've not had as many safety cars, because if other people have been doing the same, it's the mixture of slower speed and sometimes being a bit more careful has kind of resulted in it not having as many bigger crashes.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I feel like if it's a fast car and somebody makes a mistake, it's going to go more wrong because they'll have been sending it and like just as fast as they want to go, and on top of that, it's a faster car, and if it goes wrong, they are going to absolutely torpedo into somebody or multiple people. So yeah, probably more likely that in the case of incidents that it will actually be safety car.
All right, well, that is definitely something for Nismo to look forward to. Nismo, do you have any more questions for Trouble?
I'm trying to think of one on the spot here, but
You've had the entire interview,
I'm
Nismo.
struggling
This
here.
is the second
has.
time tonight.
Not only can Nismo not maths, but he also can't ask
English.
questions either. Inglés.
No hablo inglés.
No, other than well, I think we've spoken about the GT1s already
Yeah.
being picked. I mean, so far it looks like it's going to be a landslide to the GT1. So if you had to pick one, just off
Yeah,
the top
currently.
of your head, which
I
one
mean,
out of the
I
GT1s?
have already voted for the GT1s.
Oh, you have, okay. But
Yes.
but if you had to pick
I
one of them,
probably, I don't know which I would have voted for until a few days ago, where we did a GT1 race, and that was very fun. Because they're really nice to drive. Like that's all I go off of in terms of voting. Is just like, is it fun to drive? Yes. There you go.
which car? Which car?
I don't know. Probably. Well,
The blue
if I'm
one.
going off of what I last drove, it'd be the Nissan. 'Cause
Yeah.
that does drive nice.
So,
I mean, if it turns out that the only competitive one is the Merc, then I might have to, if that means...
blasphemy.
Well, I guess with BOP, that probably won't be the case. I probably will still use the Nissan, and I kind of want to. But yeah, if the only competitive thing is the Merc, then I might have to. But fingers crossed for the Nissan.
All right.
I'd also be perfectly happy with using a default setup on the Nissan, because pretty sure you know exactly which one I'd use, Nismo. I mean, that being because it's the same one I used in your time trial thing a while ago.
Oh,
in
yeah.
that car.
Yeah, when the GT,
Well,
yeah.
and I reckon if you were to look at them, you'd figure it out, just because of the colours. But yeah, obviously, custom liveries are nice. So,
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping for a more green livery for your car next time, but we'll take what we get.
well, we'll see if Fennec makes it, because if he has some harebrained idea like on this one with the funky pattern and fade, well, not fade, but like the transitioning colours, then we'll see how it'll end up being. Because obviously it still has to sort of fit with the theme, so I couldn't just slap loads of green on this one.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, we'll see how it is.
Well, yeah. Guess that's gonna be my final question of the season then. So, well, I guess until next season.
Yeah,
Or if
well,
any fun events.
Thanks for streaming as well. Should have said that earlier, but yeah, thanks for I've had some great entertainment by listening to them in the background.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely heard us screeching like monkeys at some point during this race, for sure.
Oh yeah, I did. The most memorable one was in qualifying, actually, when you were saying that Fennec had managed to qualify quite high up. It was you, Martin. You were basically just screeching. It was like, what noise is this man making? But it was very funny.
I was just seeing things.
Like classic, just like a man doesn't believe his eyes. I mean,
Yeah, I was seeing.
I mean, to be fair, I was equally caught off guard because I had no idea people would be on slicks, and hence I didn't have a chance to qualify that well. But like, yeah, I didn't see that coming.
No, yeah, it was. I would never have expected that top three in my my wildest dreams for that qualifying session, and especially with how many of the faster drivers didn't go to the slicks.
Well, actually, Ellie on pole and with full fuel.
I didn't even know about that detail yet.
Yeah, but it's just because she got an extra lap compared to everyone else. Because I was actually sort of messaging her, and it turns out basically she went on to the slicks early, sort of just as a bit of a joke. And in doing so, because she got that extra lap and the extra warmed up tires, because it was obviously quite a cold track.
Yeah.
That's what allowed her to get the pole. So it didn't matter that she was on full fuel because the tires were better than anyone else's.
Yeah, I mean that kind of mindset's what netted Ellie a pole position and a fastest lap during the season, which is pretty rare if you're not one of the top 2 or top 3 drivers in this league.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I've only got one fastest lap ever, so that means I've got as many as Ellie, but that does mean that I now need to get the pole at some point.
Yeah, it's a highly competitive scene out there, so looking forward to seeing you get pole next time, Trouble. But yeah, it was definitely stuff I was absolutely not expecting, and I was letting all the raw emotions out on the spot at the time.
Yeah, it was very entertaining.
Glad to hear it. All right, but unless Nismo has any more questions, I do believe that is how we will end our season at MSR for this V8 Supercar League at KYALAMI. So thanks for coming on, Trouble. Thanks for hosting these streams as well, Nismo. And thank you myself as well for commentating. So,
well, no, I think we should be thanking you for commentating and for streaming the that last race.
That was good fun as well.
Of course, of course.
Just a bummer that I couldn't facilitate any gambling on that one.
Yeah.
We'll see.
While Nismo was deciding to decrease the quality of the stream with his, was it phone mic or something? But yeah.
iPad mic.
Near enough.
Near enough. Yeah. No,
thanks, Martin. Thanks, Nismo.
Yeah, see you next season.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And with that, I mean, we've got 33 commentators' curses this season. We got a lot of thank yous from the people racing and watching. So I think we should take that as a signal that more curses are wanted.
Yeah, I mean.
So what happened to Trouble there? He left mid sentence.
Oh, I disconnected him. We're gonna get a really hateful message in a second. No, but I mean, it's been an incredible season. I mean, this and the last race have been absolutely insane. And I mean, the racing over these 7 weeks. I mean, nine if you count pre-season, have not failed to produce absolute entertainment. And I mean, if you people ever want to join, just send me a link, whether it's on Twitch or Discord or anything.
Wait, they have to send us a link?
Well, so I can give them a link to the server.
Wait, why would they need a link for us to send them a link?
That's a really good point, you know. But if you ever need a link to join the server, just send me a message on Twitch. If I do take a long time, it's just because I don't have notifications on, but I will eventually get to it. And if you have me on Discord already, just send me a message. But yeah, an amazing season. Gillis Holman taking the win from Mats at the final round, and that is the same for Ultimate K's taking P3. And yeah, what a great season it's been. It's been amazing commentating. From the looks of it, our next season's going to be GT1s. But if you want to try and sway the decision, once again, join the Discord. But yeah, we will see you, well, next season or whenever I'm next online. So until then, I will see you in the next season.
Good night, everyone.